What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the den. I know you're like, what? I'm getting started and not waiting an hour? What the fuck is going on? Yeah, trying to be timely, trying to be on point, trying to be efficient. You know, it's rude to keep you guys waiting so long. And if I'm going to improve my abilities as a host, well, shit, I gotta be on time, right? But welcome to the den. If you're not familiar with the den, man, the den is the best conversation on the internet. If you don't know, well, you should know. Tonight we're going to talk about logic and emotions and why they're both necessary. But there's a caveat with that. But like I say, so we're gonna discuss some things tonight, and I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be your host this evening. If you don't know, my name is Ed Honcho, and this is the Den. The Den is a place where we can all come together where we agree or disagree on whatever the topic may be, on whatever we're speaking, but we all have a platform we can discuss our thoughts. So I'll speak my opinions for 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how the rant gets going. And then we'll open up the den line so you guys can call in, share your thoughts, share your input, share your feelings on whatever it may be that we discuss that evening. Make sure you're following the Den on all the proper socials, facebook.com/DenShowLive, Twitter and Instagram @DenShowLive. You can find the links in the description to those. And you go to facebook.com/groups/DenShowLive to join the Facebook group. If you ever want to contact the Den, whether we are live or not, you can always call 833, the number 2. The Den is the easiest way to remember it, 833-284-3336. Or you can send an email to denshowlive@gmail.com. If you just have something you want to say, something you want to shoot to the Den, something you want, your boy Honcho to check out, or you can tell a friend about the Den, tell them to go to thedenshow.com. Or if you want to tell them to come to a live streaming of the Den, you can tell them to come to thedenshow.com/live. So there's that. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting the Den, but if you want to show a little love to the Den, you go to streamlabs.com/thedenshow and donate to the channel as we continue to progress closer towards our goal. I know I've been saying I'm going to get that total. I have that for y'all tomorrow, I promise. To see how far away or how close we are is a better way to put it. The way you use words is very important. To see how close we are to obtaining the goal and doing some major things here with this channel. And if you want to support monthly, you can pledge to the Den at patreon.com/thedenshow. And, just offer, whatever tier seems suitable to you. There's a lot of different tiers. And, like I said, if you want to catch some of the shorter videos, shout out to Stina Story-Eye, who has chosen the producer tier. And, get your names thrown in the back on the credits of the short or the actual videos that get posted, during the day. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. But before we get into it, we got to talk about the most important thing happening in Houston, in the Den, in all of that good stuff. And that's you guys, the Den folk, the denizens. Look, the Den folk. The Den folk, the denizens. Let's see who we have joining us this evening. Then we're going to get into some good conversation. Melanie Monroe, what's the motherfucking deal? Coach of Anubis. Marie Lovely, what's the motherfucking deal? 335, Professor Trio, Edwin Baptiste, what's the motherfucking deal? Baker Man, Captain Diggler, Rashida Reed, what's the motherfucking deal? OG77013. Well, hey man, Den at 10, gotta stick to the script. Rocket's got that in the bag anyway. Wise, what's the motherfucking deal? Jason S., what's the motherfucking deal? So, let's talk about it. Logic and emotions. Where do logic and emotions lie? And I was just thinking about it, because again, I look at videos, I look at comments, I look at how people respond to things, I look at the calls we get here, just certain things in the comment section, and generally in the lives, we don't have too much of an issue. Every now and then there may be a little disagreement or whatever it may be, but for the most part, I think we kind of have a not necessarily a consensus, and not everybody agrees with that. That's definitely not it. But I think we're, for the most part, along the same page, even though there are different beliefs on certain areas. But you look at logic and you look at emotion, and you wonder how people operate. What is their primary function? What is the primary factor that they kind of use to dictate the way they see life? And I think maybe the older we get, maybe the more we use logic, because when you're young, you do what feels good, you do what feels right. You know what I mean? But then again, I don't think that's always the case. I don't think people always adapt. Some people live their entire lives like that. I think you have a newer generation who, and again, not all of you, because I know some of y'all like, hey, don't be putting that on us. You know, I think we have a newer generation who is much more, even though there's more information, there's more understanding, there's so many more tools to help comprehension, they choose to be emotional when there's no real reason to be overly emotional. They see everything as, you know, hard. Everything is against them. Everything is, you know, this new generation is the most depressed generation. Well, again, I'm sure they're probably, in the Great Depression, motherfuckers was depressed. But, you know, you know, the thing about it is there's so many tools. There's so much opportunity. This isn't like it would have been then. And what I mean is because the opportunity, the ability, the access to everything is so much easier now than it's ever been. Yet you got people who are so much more emotional. They respond to things so much more emotionally. Well, this don't feel like this don't feel like that. I look at the comments and people don't like the video, so they respond emotionally. And, you know, they get mad at you like you're wrong for talking about things that don't make them feel good when it really is a thing. Oh, you know what? I actually had that answer. You got to put the, I don't even know what you call that, the little post thing after the number. Well, almost. You don't have to put the time zone on it. Because like I said, I had a couple. At first I did have just the number, but then I just adjusted them a little bit. So, but the rest of that is pretty close. But here's my deal. And the thing about it is, I don't understand why emotions are more prevalent than ever. I don't understand why people respond to things when they have access to the facts, they have access to the information, I mean, in a matter of a second these days. But yet they don't even want to do that. That's not what they want to do. I got this thing every time anybody says like hey or what's up or whatever, it says hi to everybody. So yeah, and that's what I'm gonna get to, Baker Man and Jared Key. What's the motherfucking deal? Broderick Brooks. What's the motherfucking deal? And that's the thing. Emotional intelligence, emotions and intelligence, intelligent emotions. However you want to look at it. Motherfuckers now just people wake up wanting to be angry, and the thing about it is, what is his name? Dr. Joe Dispenza, I think is his name, and he talks about moods, demeanors, and you know how they become what they are, and it's super true because we're really probably much more simple than we want to be, right? And what he was saying, he was talking about moods and demeanors and how people get into a certain mindset. When you think of somebody who's a mad person or a mean person, generally you can trace that to a single event. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is that single event, say, puts that person in a bad mood. And they stay in that bad mood for a couple of days, right? And I'm just in a bad mood. I'm just in a kind of a bad spell. But then that spell carries on for several months. Then it, you know, or days into months or weeks or whatever, it becomes a demeanor. And so, and a lot of these people, or whatever, there's therapists, psychologists, whatever, you know, they generally try to trace something down to a problem in people's childhood, or because that's generally where most of the problems start, or it's usually one thing that alters a person's thinking for the rest of their life, and they let that one thing determine the way they respond to everything, and their emotions respond to everything in a certain way. They were young and got dissed by a chick that they like, you know, then all of a sudden all women ain't shit, and you know, all these hoes ain't shit, and this, or they get cheated on by one chick, so they treat every chick the same way, or whatever. So they let one event tend to dictate the way they think and the way they operate. AB, what's the motherfucking deal? Miss Thang, what's the motherfucking deal? And so People don't necessarily have the proper control of their emotions. Because if you wake up in a bad mood and you don't solve the problem, you wake up again the next day without solving that problem. You'll stay in that bad mood, and you kind of forget what it was that put you in that bad mood, and you just know that you're in a bad mood, and then that just becomes your fucking demeanor. You know what I'm saying? That just becomes who you are. You know what I'm saying? What I said, it was going to have 32, 11, and 9. But and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, you don't have to feel the way you feel about shit. So what you have nowadays is these kids or the youth or even older people, they get so depressed because we talked about comparison and we talked about these things. And they're comparing their lives to other people and not using the logic aspect of it. And what I mean by that is not thinking, what are these people showing me and why? Because when you're on social media, why are they showing me the specific pictures? To tell me that they're having such a great life. But what I'm not doing is seeing what's really going on. I'm just seeing a picture. I'm seeing a still moment. I'm not realizing that this is an edited 30 seconds out of somebody's life. This is a couple of 10 seconds, a photo of one nice event. And I'm giving this more precedent, more power than all the great things that have happened in my life just because it's not happening to me right now. Or we look at pictures of shit that's happened to somebody 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and we're like, oh, this person is this, that, and the third. When that person has moved on and they're doing something completely different with their lives, at the same moment you're watching that picture, you're stuck in their past. They're moved on, they're living, they're doing something else. But I do it, everybody does it. But you're stuck focusing on their past when they moved on into the future. We judge people a lot by their past. But getting back to emotions versus logic. And so we respond to so many things emotionally when, if we would just stop and think why we feel this way about these things, what is triggering this feeling, or what is making us respond in this way to stuff. There's always a very simple reason behind it, but yet we don't do that. Most of us just go with the flow, go with the feeling, go with the mood that we're currently in. Go with how that feeling, if it's a bad feeling, we let it stick around, it becomes a bad mood. Instead of it stick around, it becomes our demeanor. And so the thing is, oh yeah, Brody B Chronicles Part 4. I'm telling you, I be wanting to read ahead on y'all. I be like, God damn, I want to read, but I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. But so we let these demeanors, we let these feelings overtake our lives, and then that becomes a part of us. And people think that we're this, when in reality, if you feel bad, if you feel angry, if you feel fucked up about something, you can turn that shit off instantly. You can fix any emotional problem. Like, and what it is you just got to learn to let it go. Sticky north side, what's the motherfucking deal? He said once you experience the emotion, you're supposed to acknowledge it for what it is, learn from it. Exactly. But instead, we stick it to us and then we make it a part of us. And we never fucking let it go. And that's the problem. But we're talking about emotion, we're talking about logic versus emotion. And so we're talking about in another sense, not just being emotional. Let's talk about how we approach things, right? Say politics, for instance. You have people who approach politics logically. And by that, okay, what is this politician going to do for me? What is their campaign, what are their campaign promises? What are they standing on? What is their what's the word I'm looking for? Basically what are they all about? Okay, this makes sense. I may not like this thing that they did, but for the majority of what they're saying, I do like. Historically, they voted this way. They've shown me that this is this and this is that. But now you got a lot of people who respond emotionally. Well, this person said one thing one time that I didn't like, or they don't 100% agree with me. Sean, what is the motherfucking deal? Okay. I was like, where's Miss Sean? I ain't seen Sean in a minute. I was worried. I thought I was going to have to run up on somebody. Sharon Armstrong, yeah, their platform, okay? So my thing is, like, what do we do? Why do we respond to this? Because again, like, we make mistakes, but we hold people to a higher standard. And I think in certain aspects, politicians, people who hold power over you should be held to a higher standard. I have no problem with that. But they're human beings too, and there's certain things they're gonna fuck up. There's certain things that, yeah, it's unexcusable. Certain things they are gonna fuck up. But nowadays, we respond to everything emotionally. Somebody will take a meme and cut some shit up and take shit out of context, and we'll respond to it. I hate this person. They're so fucking stupid. When, let's be realistic, a lot of these motherfuckers are pretty intelligent. Okay, they've gone to school, they've gotten their degrees in whatever field they're in, but it's the irrational, it's the emotions in us. They're stupid. They're fucking idiots. They would beat the brakes off of the majority of us in any kind of aptitude test. You know what I'm saying? Taylor Made, what's the motherfucking deal, man? Sharon Armstrong, what's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the den. I don't know if I've seen this name, so like I said, it looks new, but I'm glad to see you. But my thing is, like I said, if we would take any kind of aptitude test, the majority of these motherfuckers would beat the brakes off of us. Let's just be realistic. But we're quick to call them idiots because they don't agree with us. We're quick to call them stupid because they have a different set of beliefs than us. Yeah, they do stupid things, and this is why I say I'm really working on separating my insults of a person and their ideas. You know what I'm saying? And so what I mean by that is, that was a stupid fucking thing you said. That's a stupid fucking idea. That's the most retarded idea I've ever heard. But I don't want to place that label. Now, if this person don't do nothing but say stupid, retarded ass shit, if that's the only things that ever come out of their mouth, and then you might start, this motherfucker might be kind of stupid. But the thing about it is, people are intelligent in certain areas and they're not so bright in other areas. I'm in the Dominican Republic right after scuba diving to Paris, and what? Look, Sean, turn it up, goddamn. Look, just I don't know. I ain't gonna tell you that. Say, smack one of them Dominican butts for you, boy. But I don't want to get nobody in no trouble. Hey, I'm not saying no day. But even in that instant, responding, you look at the debate, responding logically with facts and responding emotionally. I feel this way. I feel this is going to happen. There's no precedent for how you feel, but you feel that way. And I guess in a sense you're entitled to that because that's what you want. You want this outcome. You're pursuing a certain outcome. But there's certain things you just cannot do. There's certain things you cannot approach without a foundation. And your feelings are not a foundation. And I think that's where people have a problem. This makes me feel good, so it must be good. No. If I ran out, fucking on every chick that I saw. Yeah, for the moment, in those moments, I would feel good. But is it necessarily good for me on the long time? No. Because, I may enjoy those moments, but I'm putting myself at risk. Let's say I'm running around, let's kind of throw some caveats into it. Running around having a bunch of unprotected sex. Raw sex feels the best. Some of y'all don't need to hear this. Some of y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. It is what it is. We're going to keep it 100 in the fucking den. The fucking rubber takes away fucking feeling. I don't care what all kind of new technology they drop and all this other shit. So if I ran around having a bunch of raw sex with women, all over, especially Houston and America, period, it may feel good. Then in a couple of months when I started getting that little suspicious cough, well, where'd I get this? I started getting that little funny cough, and then I'm wondering what's wrong with me. What then? Yeah, it felt good, but it wasn't the wisest move. Logically would be to say, hey, you know what? One, I don't need to be running around here fucking on all these chicks. I need to find me one good woman, to fuck with her if I ain't trying to be locked down, be smart about it, at least wrap it up or whatever else it may be. Approach the shit with a little bit of sense. Feeling good versus what's probably good is not always what goes hand in hand. And I'm just using some throw it off ass analogies, but y'all know what I'm saying. Sometimes we blend the ratchet and the righteous, as I've been told in the den. And so I'm just saying, your feelings can only get you so far. But if you live your life solely based on your feelings, you're going to end up in a rut, you're going to end up in a problem, you're going to end up in a situation that you're going to need some logic to get out of. And if you don't flex your logic muscles, they will deplete. Common sense ain't so common. And that's what I mean by logic nowadays too. It's not even saying that you got to be some mathematician, that you have to be some type of, mastermind or in the fields of some science field or, computer technology, whatever. You just have to use common sense. And common sense ain't so common. Common sense isn't hard to use, but oh man, that must be nice. Look, I'm trying to figure out what to do for 420 because I ain't gonna smoke no weed. I might give y'all a old black and mild then. It's gonna be terrible and it's gonna stink. I think I just got that smell out of here. No, but maybe not at all. We'll figure something out. I'll go get some of them what's them shits, remember them little candy fucking gum cigarettes where you just blow the little sugar out them hoes? I'm getting some of them hoes. But well, that's what's up, Kenneth. Congratulations. Don't get beat up by a varsity tight end. But my thing is this, man. It's just all about using the skills you have. Don't go running headfirst into things. And logic isn't always fun. Logic doesn't always feel good. But at a certain point as you grow up, you have to make the logical decisions. So if you go out and you only got so much money and you got rent and lights, car note or whatever due, or I can go to the strip club. Strip club would feel good. Strip club would be, great, right? Be a lot of fun. Might smell a little funny, but it'll be a lot of fun. Or having a home with lights and a vehicle to get there is maybe what's most ideal, right? Simple shit. But people don't do simple shit anymore. Like they don't even think about simple shit anymore. That's just me just kind of going all off. We're going to continue the conversation, but I'm going to Logic used to jam nice, like I said. Now I'm gonna open up the line, so if y'all have some calls and y'all want to contribute to the topic or whatever's on your mind, we'll open up the line. But here's the deal. I want to know this from y'all. I try to set everything with a question so we can have some good calls. I want to know in your mind, when you call in, what situations are best to approach logically, and what situations are best to respond to emotionally. And now I say all these things, but I think about J Mel's story that he shared with us the other day. Had he taken the most logical approach, then it doesn't happen, right? You know what I'm saying? But if he takes the emotional approach, which is, hey, this is my dream, this is what I'm trying to get to, it ended up panning out for him, right? So, what? That's a thing? Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that and get the proper paint job with the German engineering. Interesting. But my thing is this, man. So I want to know how y'all feel. When is it good to be emotional, to respond emotionally to things, and when is it good to respond logically? Because here's another thing, man. You have to have both. And I said there's a reason why you have to have both. Because if you live your life solely based on logic, you're going to live a boring life. Point blank, period. At some points, you have to take risks. Some certain points, you have to enjoy things. If you only always do the logical thing, you're going to miss out on a good chunk of life. Emotions come with it for a reason. And if you're not feeling and experiencing those emotions, then you're not getting the full breadth of life. So that's why I'm asking. And I don't want to make it seem like only be logical, only be this, because I'm not. I make some of the most irrational decisions. But the thing about it is, exactly, balance. Like I say, the thing about it is, when is it right and when is it wrong to switch it up? When do you use one and can the other? You know what I'm saying? The marijuana. Oh, Jeebus. So yeah, we're gonna open up the line. So I want to know, when you call in, I want to know, when do you think it's proper to use emotions? When do you think it's proper to be logical? You know what I mean? She try to always come and talk. What the other day she say my face looked like I was busting a nut. The other one looked like I'm taking a dump. I gotta give these faces so that way people got something like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? What is this nigga doing? So that's why I have to present these faces to the people. So yes, that's why it's necessary. But what's the motherfucking deal? T'Challa, and I gave you power. It's a men are actually natural, like women are actually mostly created that way on purpose. And I agree. I definitely agree. And that's why I talk about that too, why they're both necessary, because I talk about it when it comes to like child rearing. I think that children need to experience both halves of that, having that for both parents. They need to have the logical side, they need to have the emotional side, so that they are raised with balance, raised with understanding, raised with the most options in that sense. Yeah. Say the heart and mind communicate an incalculable number of times a day via nerves. Just tell me too. I forgot the actual scientific name for it. Oh man. I call that shit existing. No. But and I agree, like I said, and there are people who will say that's not true. Men aren't more logical. You can believe what you want to, but I think on the overall, I don't know though, because we talk about what's going on these days, right? And these days, you're starting to see more and more emotional men. That's why I say I talk about like in the comment sections. Emotional responses to everything. Instead of thinking, okay, well maybe there's a purpose to why this is being said or why this is happening. Now it's just everything is emotional. Somebody came to the video the other day talking about, the one with the transgender fender bender, and talking about, there's just no facts in this, and this isn't true. This isn't. So, this motherfucker in the video I sat here and watched, you tell me what I saw with my own eyes that was posted, that this motherfucker went in the middle of the fucking intersection talking shit to people and got the motherfucking brakes beat off of him. For talking shit. I saw that with my own eyes, but that's not true. There's no logic. So they say, you didn't talk to this, you didn't talk to that, you don't know what's right. So I say, well, why don't you educate me, since apparently you know? And then they started asking me questions about, did I talk to this person? Like, you just stated that I didn't do that, and then you're asking me if I did. But then you sit here and act like you know the story, but you can't, you're not providing anything. And that, like I say, you just responded emotionally to a story because, to be honest, the guy looked kind of feminine. So, that's not to say anything nor here nor there. Prince was feminine as shit. He might have been kind of funny money, but Prince had all the hoes. But all I'm saying is, now there's just more and more of males responding to things in an emotional fashion, and I just don't understand it. What the hell are you talking about? Say somebody got stabbed yesterday, and the dude stabbed the dude threatened to shoot up school. Oh, okay. Well, that is crazy. They say people think what they wish was true is actually true. Yeah, and that's the problem nowadays. You're absolutely right, Anthony. Like, you got a lot of people these days who say shit with no merit behind it, and they live like what they're saying is true. But it's all this false information that gets spread. It's a lot of this, just these echo chambers that you get in. And sometimes, and that's why I say I like to listen to shit that I don't agree with often. Because then it kind of makes me check certain things. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about it. Look, you better look out for me, because we ain't playing that shit over here. We're gonna shut all that shit down. But the thing is, it's like, come on, man. What you're saying doesn't make sense. What you're doing doesn't make sense. But you're hoping to get some magical outcome out of it. But the likelihood of that is slim. It just is what it is. And like I said, I just don't understand. But it makes them feel comfortable inside. It makes me feel better. But what about all the people you make uncomfortable in your pursuit of feeling good inside for you, in pursuit of you soothing your own emotions? You make everybody else uncomfortable. Well, that doesn't matter to these kind of people. And in that sense, you're selfish. Society isn't going to always work for everybody. It's just not how it's designed. As long as there's differing opinions, different races, different backgrounds, different, socioeconomic statuses, different sexes. As long as there are differences, somebody's going to feel like, hey, this situation's a little unfair to me. But my deal is, I don't believe in upsetting the masses just to appease a very small minority. You know what I'm saying? And that's my problem. You say drop Sunday Confession on the Facebook page right now, but go check it out. That's a bit. you know, my thing is, I'm way too emotional when it comes to my children, so logic in my life is very important. Well, and that's the thing, though. That's what I'm saying. I mean, but stuff like that is going to happen when you're talking about loved ones and people that you have emotions invested into. When something happens to them, or when they say something to you, or if there's a problem involving them, usually you're going to respond emotionally. You know, especially mothers with kids. It's always very good because see, kids have a special button that works on the moms. You know what I'm saying? It's a special button that works on. Well, were you have on Sunday? You ain't come through. You didn't come through AB on Sunday because. Am I tripping? Am I tripping? AB ain't have a Sunday night confession. Okay. Cause yeah, Sunday night was the ad. I'll never get over that. The asthma one. God damn, it asthma pump shit. I'm still dying about that shit. Okay, you want to call this 25 cents, but I got you. I'll look out for you. If I gotta hang up on somebody, I got you. So the thing about it is, again, but like kids have a special button when it comes to the moms, right? They can, it's a switch though. It's not even just a button, it's a switch. And it's like they can do that little kitty face or whatever else, and moms just melt in their hand. And I'm sure like it happens with dads too. I'm sure it does. But I think dads catch shit. Dads are more willing to allow things even though they know what's up. Moms just see little baby and this still motherfucker be 52 years old, still be a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of shit that goes on. Daughters and fathers, yeah, I think it works more so that way. I think moms, it is what it is. A dad wants his son to be a certain way. His daughter he's gonna treat different. Moms, they all babies. You know what I'm saying? Well, hey, my opinion is always legit. My opinion is balanced. I'm thinking logically and not emotionally. But anywho, but the thing about it is, okay. But the thing about it is, I don't know why all of a sudden I want a fucking Snickers bar. Like I want one. I don't need one because I'm sure that might put me over my calorie count for the day. But I kind of want one. I'm not myself right now. I need a Snickers. No, I don't need that bitch. But so again, like I say, it's just how you approach stuff. We were talking about certain situations. Like if you got a chick and she's not right for you, but you emotionally attached to the pussy, or you just ain't getting no pussy. That's your only action you got going on. But you know that everything else in that relationship is terrible for you. You're not thinking logically. You're thinking emotionally. Emotional connection to the pussy. You're just going to stick around with it. Or same thing with females who get, dickmatized. The dick will make you do some things. Who said that? Boosie said that. But the thing about it is you gotta fucking know when it makes more sense to do one thing than the other, right? And I'm doing a motherfucking blunt. Hey, look, Jack. I just gotta keep right. I don't even want to think about it right now. I got a ways to go. Still got about 2970 or so to go. So so again, my thing is you just gotta understand, because think about how many women have done crazy things behind some wee, and how many niggas have done some crazy thing behind some vajayjay. I mean, it is what it is. And so I ain't never seen no Webby interview, man. That nigga Webby crazy. Webby, I remember he was talking about something about his little boys or something like they got caught with the girl. I ain't see the whole story though, but I remember it was supposed to be a little crazy event. But Let me see if this works. I did work on some new dilly dallies. Oh, okay. There we go. So the thing about this is women preachers are prime example of our backwards roles. That's very interesting because I know that there are some religions that will not entertain such a thing, but then you see a lot of them that do. They embrace it, you know, and that's why I say I think there's a lot of falsities out there, a lot of falsehoods. You see, dude, gotta look like everybody called him with. The child, oh man, I saw one. It's like 5 or 6 years old, little child preacher. Like, what does this motherfucker know about this nigga? Don't even know about Sesame Street. This nigga he out here preaching and shit. No, but I mean, like, what story does he? What testimony does he have to tell at 5 or 6 years old? You know, and I'm not saying that he's probably not been well trained. I'm sure he has some knowledge, but because his parents probably taught him something. But like, what can he? You know, how can he talk about what religion has done for him? You know, I was down bad on my juice box. You know, and I had to pray to the Lord. I said, Lord, I need some more juicy juice. Next thing you know, my mama came in the room with another box of juicy juice. Can I get an amen? Amen. You know, but again, it's just like the things that people do nowadays. There's a lot of fucking gimmicks. There's a lot of bullshit that gets pushed. And people know that other people will find it nifty and interesting, and so they push this shit. It's catchy. It's a gimmick. Like I say, you know, it's wild that the stuff that people entertain, you know. But it's like I say, it's just it's a crazy situation. But I think church operates like that a lot. I think a lot of these churches operate, you know, when you talk about emotion and logic. Again, like I say, I have a distrust for a lot of churches and a lot of what they do. You know, I understand that it takes funding and things, and it takes money to keep certain shit upright. But you gotta, like, when it comes to the preachers needing jets, and these motherfuckers got an airport at their house, and these motherfuckers living in, you know, $1 million mansions, and they got 5 or 6 Bentleys and Mercedes and, you know, all these things, but you got people in your congregation struggling to make it. These churches there's churches who literally, for you to become a member, these motherfuckers will check your bills. Like, you got to bring your bills, you got to bring your check, you know, like, you got to do all this, and they will go over your finances with you and tell you how much you need to donate to the church, you know, on a weekly basis. What the fuck kind of religion is that? Like, you care more about my money than my motherfucking salvation. You know what I'm saying? And so, watch pimps up, hold down, one of those mega church preachers. Yeah. And so, like I'm saying, shit, what's the name? Don Magic One, didn't he become a preacher? It's a lot of ex-pimps that become preachers and shit like that. You know? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, this shit's fucking crazy, man. But it is. It's a bunch of game. You know, it's a bunch of game. And such the crazy shit about it is people embrace this shit, and this is why I say emotion and logic. Like, I understand, you know, want to be a good Christian or a good whoever, you know, whatever religion you partake in, but then there has to come to a point where you're saying, hey, you know, this doesn't make sense. You see a lot of these religions that turn into sex cults. You know, you got these churches where the preacher, the pastor, the reverend, or whatever you want to call him, is sleeping with all the women in the congregation, married or not. It was that one, I remember the story a few years back in Louisiana, where that man walked into the church, walked down the aisle, and shot that preacher dead in his head. And they said walked out cool, calm, and collected. And everybody was talking about, oh, he a sinner, he can't believe he did that in the house of God and all this other stuff. I said, that preacher was sleeping with that man's wife. And it turned out he was not only sleeping with the wife, but he was sleeping with the daughter too. I knew that before any information, any facts, anything came out. Because for a man to make a display like that, he was sending a motherfucking message. You know what I'm saying? And there was a reason. Because if it was just some old rinky-dink shit, if the preacher took space, he would have caught him slipping. He wouldn't have made it known in front of the entire congregation that knows him to do such a thing. He sent a message. You know what I mean? And so, this was a real deal. This happened. It might be, what is this, 2019? So it might have been 5 or 6 years now. But it happened in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, it's like I said, these preachers out there, they hopping around. It was the one that had the little girl. She was like in the youth ministry, and this was like last year, maybe the year before. She was like in the little youth ministry or whatever, and one of the little preachers or the youth preacher or whatever was trying to fuck around with her. And she was young, underage, like 15, and he ended up, I don't know if they ended up trying to transfer him or what, but I think he eventually ended up going to jail. And the congregation tried to make her apologize for what he did. If that ain't some ass backwards ass shit, and this was a black church. Wasn't that she was dressed in any particular way, I don't know, exactly what the rest of it was. Tried to make her and her family apologize. You know what I'm saying? Tried to make them apologize for whatever, was going on. But yet this man trying to volunteer to take her home, I don't know if she had I can't remember if he was trying to pick her up from work, but he was just basically trying to, seduce this young girl and justify it, but keep it on the hush, don't say nothing. And that's what I say, it's crazy, man. It's a lot of shenanigans that go on. Oh, buddy, I'm not gay no more. These fucking shenanigans that get put on. Fucking Kearney Thomas and this shit. Look, man, I used to see this nigga Kearney Thomas rolling around on 24s and shit, riding a Bentley on 24s and shit. You know what I'm saying? Flossing and flexing. I used to know where his crib was. I ain't saying I was trying to do nothing to it, but he had a little crib on the water. And, this motherfucker here, I know motherfuckers who used to work for his personal pet package providing service. And they were talking about how he'd be getting fucked up and getting drunk and shit and stuffing the little prayer packages and fucking, shipping them off and mailing them off. Like, dude, Kearney used to fucking recruit dope fiends and shit. You know what I'm saying? You see all the black players and TD Jakes, that's crazy. Like how, that he would recruit dope fiends and shit and train the dope fiends, to what they needed to do to act like they was saved and to act like they was this, that, and the third. And they come on the shows and they do all this tomfoolery. You know what I'm saying? Like all this tomfoolery. And what I say about emotion and logic is niggas just blindly follow this shit because it's not even about church. It's about attention and entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Hoeing out of both drawer lid. God damn, them drawers, they got extra holes in them motherfuckers. They going so hard. They hoeing hard in the bitch. But like I say, and you look at this, and look, this should be a whole topic in itself, the damn church. We didn't went off of, but I'm like, let me jot this down as might have to be I gotta figure out what this other fucking thing. I gotta put these things together. But just really talking about the churches and some of the shit that they do these days. This one second. What it is, the one. This one. And a lot of it is crazy, man. And I mean, you can find a story anywhere because you got to think about it. Once you get too old for the club, and even if you're not too old for the club, what's the next best thing, man? If you pull that kind of, but that's what I'm saying. But these motherfuckers use it as power. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the crazy because they know that people gonna look at them as a man of God. And they use so much blasphemy. They do so much bullshit. And I'm not a religious person, but I just look at a lot of this shit. And I'm just like, man, y'all can't see this tomfoolery out. And like shit like that, I understand why people leave the church, especially if that's what they've grown up in. They leave and they turn and they don't look back because of these incidents and it's these people that you allow to permeate these churches or whatever, and they just continue to push a foul message. They violate a lot of kids. I remember the shit way back. The little chick who was talking about the preacher who was, and he was still in the church. He was old as shit at that point in time. She was talking about he was molesting her when he was like when she was like 12 or 13, and she went back after she was like way older and recording him on the thing. She's like, yeah, you don't remember when you used to molest me and this, and this, and they was mad at her for doing the shit. Like, look, man, look, Jack, you know, there are situations, okay? And I believe in looking at every situation for what it is. But if a motherfucker got a history of doing this certain thing over and over again, and it's obvious, like, put the blame where the blame goes. I don't care how much a motherfucker talk about God, Jesus, and slap his hand on your forehead and tell you saved and sprinkle some holy water on you and moonwalk across the stage and slap you with a jacket and all that other shit. Like, I don't give a fuck how that shit make you feel, because energy's a motherfucker. You see these fucking African preachers, like we talked about the motherfucker not that long ago, raising motherfuckers from the dead, right? Come on, like, let's be for real. You know what I'm saying? All right, I gave you power. But again, like I say, yeah, Walmart, HEB. I said, can't get through? Okay. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen it ring or anything. But the thing about it is, like I say, that's where the rest of them go when they too old for the club. You know, that's when they start hanging out at HEB and in the Wiley. But if you're trying to really be in the community business, where you gonna go get the gossip at? Where you get to see a group of people. Because once you get out of high school, you know what I'm saying? I got something for So I was trying to let certain shit slide, but you only let it slide for so long. Look, so, but if you want neighborhood gossip, who doing what, who doing this and who doing that, where you gonna go to get it? The fucking church? Who doing what? Oh, Lucy Lou, little daughter, she out there in them streets. I seen her over by Leslie Ray house, her grandson, and that little nigga ain't shit, and that's where you gonna go get all your gossip, man. It's like these motherfuckers, like, you get your competition, you get your little fashion show. Yeah, you ain't lying, Dolphins know everything. You get your little church fashion show. Who got the biggest hat? Women wear club clothes to the church now because women don't fucking because women, they wear club clothes to the church now, just like they wear club clothes to work now. Because motherfuckers don't know the difference. We talked about class and knowing the difference between, when and where to wear shit. I can't talk too much. Niggas out here wearing rompers and shit. So, we ain't forgot. We ain't gonna act like that shit is, where that shit is over with. Again, like I say, titties out every day like a boss. But that's what I'm saying. And so, nigga, pass the collection plate. Nigga, pass the motherfucking collection plate. But, again, like I say River Preacher, what I was just giving himself a God. I remember the whole Jamestown thing, like, yeah, he coming back. But the thing about it is people need other people. We need that sense of community. And I think people are more willing to put that sense of community over rational thinking, logical thinking. And so they'll go run under the premise of God and all these other things, that under God and all these things, when that's not really what it is. It's just a reason to be somewhere. Like, I don't understand, you see these people catch the quote unquote Holy Ghost only in church, only around other people. They falling out on the floor and flipping and flopping like a dead fish out of water. So not a dead fish, because a dead fish is dead. But like a fish out of water. Ali, what's the motherfucking deal? All right, Miss Thing, appreciate you coming through. And so all I'm saying is, it's like there's just so much tomfoolery going on from every angle. People just want to be associated with something. You know what I'm talking about? They catch the Holy Ghost and work that ass. This motherfucker's having convulsions. Somebody call a paramedic. So yeah, it's gonna be bad business. You catch that motherfucker at work, and it's a wrap. What happened to you? I thought you had to work there. Yeah, I caught the Holy Ghost in the cubicle. Yeah, they decided to let me go. But yeah, man, like I say, it's too much. It's too much, man. And the thing about it is, again, it's attention. Where else do I get to go in life where I can get a bunch of attention? School. Once you're out of school, the club. If you ain't in the club, if you don't want to be necessarily in that environment, you can go to church, and you can start flopping on the floor. You can start dancing and moonwalking. You can go up and say that you get. Did y'all see the one? Did y'all see the one? This was another African preacher talking about. This woman said she had a dick sucking demon. A dick sucking demon. Said that this motherfucker said he put some spell. He was doing all this shit and getting the dick sucking demon out of him. You know, he had to test the demon out first before, you know, he got all the way out of him. But basically said, had a dick sucking demon. You know what I'm saying? Then he talking about he did this. Demon, you get up out of her, you dick sucker. She just talking about she couldn't help but suck dick. Oh, there's a part two? Oh, I gotta look into that. Part two of the dick sucking demon. Part two of the dick sucking demon is on Pornhub though. But you know, and the thing about it, it's like talking about she went to the bathroom or something and white stuff started coming out of her mouth. She started spitting up white stuff. Bitch, you went to the bathroom with the deacon, goddamn it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, hey, you know, if you want to find it, cause you know, porn got a parody of everything. God damn it. Dick sucking demons all over Instagram. You said they can actually be true. But here's my deal, like I say, but it's just, maybe it is, right? Maybe it is, because it's, I remember some motherfuckers who used to do some motherfucking. But V Darko, what's the motherfucking deal? Sweetberry. Ali, I gotta be the host with the most, man. All right, Sean, I appreciate you coming through. I hope you enjoy your trip in the Dominican Republic. We got a caller calling in. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Professor Trio, what's up, Honcho?
Professor Trio, what would you like to drop in the den this evening, man?
Oh, man, you just reminded me of something. The last time I went to church.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a while back. It was probably about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it was one of them things where, you know how like you stay at your auntie house, right? And whatever that family do, you doing too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I very seldom stayed at this auntie house. But just one time I did. And so we went to church on Sunday morning. And I remember it vividly because I wore a Dickie suit to church because I ain't had no suit. Just not a church type of nigga.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever seen somebody catch the Holy Ghost freaked me the fuck out. So this lady standing in the aisle and shit, she just fell to her knees and then started shaking and shit. So my first instinct is to get up and try to help her up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at people like, somebody gonna call 911, and they just looking at me like, what's wrong with him? Like, what he don't get?
Yeah.
I'm thinking the lady about to die. That's what I'm thinking. They was like, boy, she just got the Holy Ghost. It ain't that serious. I'm like, she got the what? And they was like, yeah, it happens to you. You start speaking in tongues and shit. I'm like, you start speaking in what? I say, man, hell no. I say, Nanny, give me your keys. What? I'm supposed to go sit in the car. I don't want to be in here watching people doing this. No, hell no. Y'all got me fucked up. I said it just like that.
Yeah.
Not in here. I say in the church. This go on in the church. Don't none of y'all see nothing wrong with this. Well, no, that always man, bullshit. Bullshit. No, I got the hell up out of there, Honcho. That shit is crazy.
Right.
But the reason why I really called, it was because of a comment that Broderick made. Right. And I hear a lot of people say this, including Hopkins. This is what he said. why are people afraid of God? I don't understand that, and I'm not just trying to be a dick in that. I'm trying to understand,
Yeah.
like, what's to be afraid of in the first place? I don't get it. So if anybody could call in or write in or whatever you feel like doing, and just let me know, because just in my opinion, I wouldn't fear him. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you fear somebody that you say you love? I don't understand. Like, what do you think he's going to do to you if you've been leading a righteous life? You know what I'm saying? I understand we all not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect by a long shot, but damn, if you got a good heart, what's to be scared of?
Yeah.
So that's my question.
Well, we were talking
I know
about.
you're not really Honcho, so I wouldn't ask you. Say that again.
I said we were talking about abusive relationships yesterday, so I'm just talking shit. I'm talking shit.
I don't know if God come down and start pimp slapping niggas, oh man.
If y'all see me tap out on stream, that was the final joke. I shouldn't have said that shit. I apologize.
Oh,
I apologize. But no, that's a good
Mr.
question.
Ed Man. Come on up here, Mr. Ed Man. I heard about that shit you pulled at the bowling alley. Give me that right side right here. Somebody give me some powder.
Oh man, look, everybody been low key saying get his
nah.
game right. So y'all ain't gonna talk about it. Next time he come back with them stories, he gonna have his game tight. So we can't clown him no more.
Yeah, where the hell is Roman? Did that nigga go to juvie or some shit?
Roman
He
called
been
in on
MIA
the.
like a motherfucker.
He called in on the Salt Sports stream today. When on the Rockets pregame, he called in. So I think
Oh,
he
you
just
did a rocket stream today?
Yeah. I ain't been getting my Rockets
Why?
love, man, because they kicking Utah ass right now because they actually in the playoffs. Goddamn, that's why. You know.
Yeah, okay. Guess I gotta take that one. But anyway, I'm gonna go and get off. Hopefully somebody answer my question. I'm listening. I gotta head home. I'm in Winnie at Whataburger about to give me something to eat, nigga. I've been wanting Whataburger for a month.
Yeah, you right
I'm
around the
finally home
crib.
I'm about to head to the house, so I'm gonna let y'all do y'all thing.
All right, that's a bet. Appreciate the call. Just
All right.
all right. All right. Let's see what we got calling in. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Hello, it's V Darko.
V Dark. How are you doing this evening?
I'm fine, just calling in to give my 2 cents.
All right. What you got?
Now, I am a believer in God. I don't know if I say I'm a Christian now because a lot of my beliefs have kind of changed and um, from where I was, growing up. Like my mom never really went to church. I don't remember her going once. But she made sure that we went every Sunday. And we went to vacation Bible school in the summertime and um, summer camp church, like go for a week. And I mean, I've just seen a lot of despicable things that have happened in the church. So Christians can be some of the most hypocritical people around. I'll use my husband's church as an example. Last year, they were in the big uproar with the pastor. And this is an all African church, and they was in there just straight clowning. They had to have a police officer come every Sunday because people were threatening to beat up the pastor because they no longer believed in that he was actually for the church. They thought he got kind of like a God complex, like whatever he said would go. So the church was kind of split. It was people who were for the pastor and against the pastor. So it got to a point, like I said, where they had almost come to blows. He had almost got in a fight with one of the parishioners. So they had to have a police officer, and they had um, one guy that was in there sleeping with women, and he was getting them pregnant and stuff. So he was in the choir, and they made him step down because they said he can't serve on the choir because he's a hypocrite, because he, you know, sleeping with women and getting them pregnant.
Damn.
So just and
So
again,
it's okay to sleep with them as long as you don't get them pregnant. Okay.
you're not supposed to be sleeping with them at all.
Oh.
If you're not married to them, if you really follow the word. But there's a lot of fornicating that goes on at the church. You know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then they harass you constantly for money. A lot of these churches have ATMs in there now, where they say if you ain't got no cash on you, you can run out there to the ATM real quick
Pay that
and get
ATM fee
some.
too.
But if you need help from them, you're not gonna get it. And these preachers have all kind of nice cars, big houses. They do get paid a wage for being the pastor in that church. And if one of your parishioners are down, they do not want to help you at all.
That's crazy.
And
That's
that's
crazy.
just sickening to me that you go to this church, you pay your tithes, and then when you do get down and out and you go to them for help, they turn you away. Meanwhile, the pastor may have a Maybach or a nice car sitting out in the parking lot that the parishioners paid for.
Yeah. You can't even get a
And then
ride
I
home.
feel
He won't
like
even
a
give you a
lot of
ride
these
to the bus
churches are
stop.
caught. I'm sorry.
I said he won't even give you a ride home. You can't even get a ride to the bus stop.
Right. I feel a lot of these uh, churches are kind of cult-like, because I know a lot of foolery was going on in Africa. They had one pastor having them people out there eating grass, and they was eating it too. And then another one was saying that he had to do a body check on the women, and he was straight, I say, molesting them. Like, rub it on them, and then another one was like having them give him, oral sex and just all kind of strange stuff. But I had something that was kind of off topic. I mean, you can comment on that if you want to, but I have another question for you.
Okay, what you got?
So one of the shows that I watch is uh, Divorce Court.
Okay.
And on Divorce Court, I don't know if you've ever watched it.
Once or twice,
I
I've seen like little clips of it.
Yeah, like, I just like to read the comments and I make comments and stuff like that. But what I've noticed is that if the woman has any kids, then a lot of the men in the comments, they get upset and call the man a simp and say that he shouldn't marry her anyway because she's tainted, because she already has kids and stuff like that. And I'm like, so does this mean that if a person has kids with somebody that they may have been married to and it doesn't work out, that they're not worthy of being loved anymore? The reason I'm asking you that, because I know you said you don't personally have any kids, but you are with someone who has a child. So I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Very interesting. That's a very interesting question, and I think it comes down to certain situations. But and I'm not gonna say this just to cater it in my favor. Like I say, it's about your mentality, and it's about the person that you're dealing with. You got a lot of dudes who go into situations and they doing it just for some pussy. They doing it just for whatever, and they'll accept everything else that comes with it just because they, infatuated with the woman. I don't think it's necessarily like that with me. And then I think you also have a lot of dudes who talk a lot of shit. A lot of dudes in these comments, honestly, ain't getting no play either way. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing about it is they just mad at women, period. You know what I'm talking about? And so you got to kind of look at it like that. But I think, like I say, me, honestly, but prior to, like my whole thing was like I would never think that I would have done the kid thing. But because of the way we interacted and the way, we got to know each other and the way things just kind of went, it changed my perspective on certain things, and because of other situations and just kind of how it is compared to somebody out there who got 5 or 6 baby daddies, like the whole multiple baby daddies, multiple all that. Like, what type of person you're getting involved with when you are in that process of getting to know them. So I don't think it's a one size fits all scenario. Like, if you're a dude and you just fuck with a chick who got, like I say, just letting any nigga she fuck with knock her up, and like I say, she got a little looking like what's old gal off of Don't Be a Menace to Southside, got a whole different just a rainbow spectrum of looking kid. Don't none of them two motherfuckers look alike. I think that's a different situation. But then you have situations in life where people, they're in a particular situation, unforeseen circumstances happen, and now you're in a different situation. But if you're talking about a chick, if she just keep fucking up and fuck every nigga, she just happen to fuck up with every nigga that she meet, then I think that's completely different, and that's something you can't entertain. Because like I said, me in the situation, I would never thought that I was, but she was so cool, and just the way the conversation was, and really getting to know and understand how she operated, it changed my perspective. Now, what happens though is once you get in a relationship like that, and I say this to all kind of niggas, like, look, if you go into a relationship and you're not willing to embrace and accept that role, if you get with a single mom and you're not willing to accept that role as a father figure, then don't do it. If you're doing it just because you're trying to be with that chick, then don't do it, because you have motherfuckers who will neglect kids or do whatever. Like, I embrace the role wholeheartedly, and so I feel like the child is like mine, and that's why I say when I look at other things, I don't see how a motherfucker can be a deadbeat dad. I don't see how a motherfucker could just neglect it, like not go without seeing their kid, knowing that it could be around the corner or whatever. Like, I just don't. That's why I say, just because I've grown to become so fond of this child as if she was my own, that I just don't understand how motherfuckers can do these things. It just makes me look at deadbeats differently. Now, this ain't to say like I'm not aware that a lot of women make it hard on niggas to be good fathers to their kids. I'm not talking about them kind of niggas. But niggas who just are unwilling to be a part of their child life because they fucked up, and they just don't want to own up to their fuck ups, like motherfuckers like that, I can't respect. Like, there's no way that I can know I had a little honcho seed walking this earth and not be placing my impact on that child's life. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thoughts on that. Yeah, exactly. There's deadbeats on both sides, Wayne. What's the motherfucking deal, Wayne? But yeah, so like I say, simping. Again, it all, I think, again, like with everything I look at in life, it's a case-by-case base, but there are a lot of simps out there. Look, shit, I might be just infatuated. I might be simping. I don't even know. I might have just got caught up in some shit and didn't realize my simpery, but I don't think that's the case. Because, like I say, I think the situation's different. Like, I don't think it's in my veins, but, hey, players fuck up. Who knows? But nah, all jokes aside, I think there are simps and there are men who accept responsibility, and like I say, it just depends on the situation you get into. I think it's a multi-layered, multi-factored thing, and to just be able to kind of paint it with one brush, I don't think you can necessarily do that.
So let me ask you this: but when you first found out that she had a child, did you think about it first? Like, is it something that you want to? Did you still want to think about pursuing her, or it wasn't a factor because you had already got to know her at that point?
Well, I mean, like I say, I had certain things going on in my life, and it wasn't like a jump out the gate thing. So like I said, I was cooling, and I might get to the story at one day, but we had a lot of good conversations, because I'll be honest, I was just, at the point in time, I was just looking for some conversation. I wasn't really fucking around. I had some other things going on in my life. I was practicing celibacy and just really cooling. But the conversation was good. She was so frank and honest about a lot of things. And like I said, we would talk for quite a time. We meet up, we just chop it up. We just had a good connection. And, like I say, things just kind of, they went unexpectedly. But, I'm glad that they did go the way that they did. But, like I say, so, I mean, I guess it's just one of those kind of unpredictable things. I don't say that I had it on my mind, but it wasn't like because I guess the conversation was so good that it didn't become like, because shit, it's chicks that, didn't have kids, that just, it wasn't, it was shit to talk to. Like there's a lot of dingbats out here. You know what I'm saying? And it can be real tough conversation. So like I say, just the shit she was on, the conversation we had, and just from time to time, and just like I said, once we actually met up and chopped it up, everything was 100. And I wasn't finding that in some of the other situations that I wouldn't say I'd entertain, but I had, a little conversation here and there, and there was just absolutely no interest whatsoever. And again, like I said, all the other prerequisites were A-okay, but this situation was different, and I was just like, you know what, let's see where it goes, what happens. And so I think it was all good.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your perspective on, because I just constantly see that in the comments a lot, and I'm like, that doesn't mean a person is not worthy of having somebody just because they had a child with somebody. It's a lot of things that could have happened. They could be widows, relationships don't work out. But to me, I think it's a red flag, like kind of how you mentioned a woman having several different baby daddies, and you know, I think it's a red flag for a man to have a whole bunch of baby mamas and never married none of them. So, but a lot of women don't think like that, and then they find themselves in that situation, becoming the fourth baby mama, and then wonder when all the signs were there in the beginning.
Yeah. And a lot of people try to ignore the signs deliberately because they hoping something else is gonna happen. But man, the signs are there for a reason. And like we were saying yesterday, red flags equal body bags. So you better pay attention. You better pay attention, shit.
All right. Well, I just wanted to get your 2 cents on that, and I'm gonna hang up and see if somebody else calls me.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the comments, Vidorko.
All right. Bye.
All right, adios. But yeah, man. Dashiki, yeah. Dashiki, I couldn't remember the name for shit. I'm telling you, my memory sucks. My fault for y'all's ears. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got called into the DN this evening?
Hey, what's up, Honcho? What's the motherfucking deal, bro?
Man,
you already know who it is.
Already, Evan, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drop in the DN tonight, Evan?
How about the motherfucking Rockets, my nigga?
Oh, man, you already know, man. What was the final stat? I didn't catch Harden's final stat line. What did he end up with?
He had 32 and some other. All I was worried about was that 32. I'm halfway watching the game anyway. I'm at work, supposed to be working. but yeah, man. So I wanted to talk about the shit. I gotta read the damn thing. What did you talking about again, Honcho? I'm really tuned. I'm halfway tuned in and halfway tuned up.
Okay, we was talking about the topic's supposed to be emotions and logic, and when is it better to use your emotion and when is it better to use your logic? Because you do have to have both. But then we kind of started talking about these dirty ass churches and all the shenanigans that go on in the church.
The church. Oh,
go ahead, a triple.
Now I remember catching that part. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I don't mean to cut you off.
Okay,
that's what I want to talk about, man. Because I mean, when it comes down to the subject that you posted, and I mean that's pretty self-explanatory to me, honestly. It's you need to have a healthy balance of the two. You need to be emotional and you need to be logic. Yeah. You can't be too top-sided on one. So, and if you are, then it's gonna show. Like if you're an extremely emotional person and ain't too much logic when it comes down to your decision making, then you're just gonna be one of the most unstable ass people that And as far as being too logical, you'd probably just be one of them boring ass people that nobody want to be around. But aside from that, talking about these churches, man, Honcho, after I was put into foster care, I actually lived with a pastor. Yeah, it was the first time I ever went to a black church. I was nine. It was like about 9 or 10. Went to a black church, man. It was one of the little smaller churches though. It wasn't like a mega church. You know what I mean? It was one of the small churches with them wooden benches and shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I go to church, and my foster dad was actually the pastor of the church. And so yeah, we wake up like any other day, go to church. And when we got there, everything was good. Everybody was singing and they were doing the whole praise and worship, and And then in the middle of praise and worship, bro, like the lady that was singing, she wasn't even singing no more. In the middle of praise and worship, all you hear is just the drums now, the drums and the piano. All you hear is the drums and the piano, and there's people, bro, falling. I'm talking about people dropping like flies, bro. I'm like, what in the hell? And then the pastor started laying hands on people.
Oh,
now, this is the shit that fucked me up, Honcho. I'm 9 years old, bro, mind you. I don't know shit about shit, nigga. I barely know how to wipe my own ass, nigga. I'm like, what in the fuck? Nigga, when I say I was so scared, this is how scared I was. I was so scared that I couldn't move. I wanted to get up and walk out, but I was so scared I couldn't move. I feel like I started thinking of like all these different movie scenarios and shit that I've seen. Cause I'm a kid, I've seen a lot of crazy movies. I'm thinking, I'm like, man, am I caught up in some bullshit? Like, is this a zombie apocalypse? Like, what the fuck is going on in here, bro? And so I was just, bro, my reaction was had I been Professor Trill's age, I probably would have reacted by walking out. But I'm a kid. I'm so scared, bro. I was stunned. So yeah, man. I grew up a Christian my whole life. I was raised a Christian. I started getting older, and you know, life is starting to show me some things differently than what I've been taught in church, what's been shoved down my throat, you know, shit like that. Like, I just started seeing the world in a different spectrum. I went to the military. I lived multiple different, you know, I lived multiple lives, you know, essentially. I've lived the life of a street nigga. I lived the life of a military man. I tried to walk straight and narrow with God, and then I've been on the other side of it too. I dealt with my demons, you know. So I lived a very interesting life. But one thing I can tell you about Christianity, man, it's not the same. It's not the same as it used to be. Back in the day, when the slaves, because that's really where that shit really came up. You can't trace Christianity further back than slavery. You just can't. Not with black folks. You just not, because it didn't exist. It was not a part of our culture until the slave masters started beating that because they would scare you with God, like, and that's why people fear God to this day. Like, people don't know that, but the slave masters were scaring the slaves with God. Like, they weren't just beating you senseless. They was also psychologically scaring the fuck out of these people, thinking that, you know, that they didn't listen to what the master said, they were going to hell. Like, so, and they would pick scriptures out of the Bible and use the Bible to their own will. Like, there's certain scriptures in the Bible that say you have to obey. You know, there's something about, there's a lot of scriptures about obedience.
Yeah.
And so they would use those scriptures against the slaves. And you know, the slaves were fucking illiterate anyway. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. So they didn't really know how to dissect the shit like that. And so now we where we at now, and you got these black pastors that are leading these people, like, they're leading blind sheep, essentially, bro. Some of them don't even really know what's going on. Some of them, they just think they come to church and praising God and everything is good, and they giving their offerings away, and they continually building the church up, but they don't really know, you know, the politics and the ugly side of it all. And I'm sure if a lot of people did know the politics and the ugly side of it all, they wouldn't be attending these churches. They just wouldn't. And me, like I said, I was raised in the shit. So I lived with the pastor. I went to mega church after mega church after mega church, and I see how these people get down. And it's yeah, man, like, it's bad, bro. It's bad. And it's just, and I don't know who that was that called. I don't know if that was Sheeta or V. I don't know who it was that called, but she was talking about how how some of the most foul people are church people. Some of the most hypocritical people are church people, you know, and they'll be the first one to point the finger at you. But yeah, shit, I done went when I was a teenager, bro. You know, we used to have them shut-ins. You remember that?
Yeah.
Boy, so you know what go on in them shut-ins. You know what go down at the shut-ins.
Shit, it's going all the way down. What you mean?
Man, I got a story. It's story time, man. It's a quick one too. It's story time. Man, we had one of them shut-ins one time with the youth, it was only the youth congregation, all the teenagers. And mind you, we had a mega church, so it was like 100 plus teenagers.
Yeah.
100 plus teenagers. And you know, pastors, I'm talking about everybody, but even the pastor's kids. And the pastor's daughter, my older brother, he was about 16, 17 at the time. My older brother had been trying his hardest to get at the pastor's daughter. The pastor's daughter was fine in the motherfucker, I ain't gonna lie. And so when shut-in happened, he went in for the kill. Long story short, he was fucking her, bro. He's fucking her. And like, I'm talking about, you got all these people that sprawled out, and half of these people ain't even sleep. Half of them pretending to be asleep.
Yeah.
And and doing little shit, you know. They try to separate the females and the girls, but nigga, the adults were the first ones to fall asleep.
Yeah, I already know.
And so yeah, man. I'm looking for my brother. He disappeared. I'm like, where the fuck is this nigga at? And yeah, I find this nigga smashing the pastor's daughter. And when he sees me, he gave me that look, that little smile or whatever, and started showing out a little. And I just I just turned away. I just turned away laughing, and you know, me being me, I told everybody, nigga. I told everybody. I was like 12 or 13. I was still young. I didn't know what the G code was. I'm like, fuck that. I'm about to tell everybody this shit. This is funny ass shit. So yeah, man. I've seen. So when people talk about church and Christianity and religion, I don't mean to shit on what you believe in. I don't. I've seen the ugly side of it, and I've seen the truth. A lot of these pastors be saying, a lot of these pastors proclaim that they speaking the truth. Man, y'all better be careful with that shit for real. Especially the ones, the mega churches, them the worst ones. The worst ones, like Creflo Dollar.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not finna go to no church where the pastor name is Creflo Dollar. Like, come on, bro. I'm good on that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the one who wanted the big jet, huh? He needed to. Didn't he already have one, but he needed to upgrade or something like that?
Yes, bro. He told his congregation that he has a goal set. That he has a goal set, and that the congregation needs to help him reach his goal. He said he needs a new jet or a new plane or something, a new plane to be able to get back and forth in between the churches. You know, he got multiple churches or whatever, or whatever. He got multiple businesses or whatever the fuck he got going. But he said he needs to be able to get around easier, quicker to preach the word of God.
Yeah, that's wild, man. You got the internet. You don't need that whole damn airplane. The internet will get you there faster. Goddamn, do a live stream shit.
For real, man.
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's
it.
Look, then I need a plane, y'all. Okay, I need a plane so I can get from one side of Houston to the other as fast as possible without having to, drive down 45. So what we gonna do about this, Dan? Can we get this plane? I need $69 million. That shit too wild, man.
Yeah, man. So that's why I don't mean to offend nobody, but that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? That is how I feel.
Yeah.
Damn, boy, you came from.
Yeah. You heard my manager?
Yeah, what he said?
I think he said, where the hell you come from?
You gotta duck off, all the hiding spots, baby.
Right, nigga, what? I'm telling you, bro.
Man.
I be at work sometimes doing everything but working. But I'm one of the best workers here, man. I ain't gonna lie. That's the reason why I slack off, cause when you pay your dues, you can do that.
Yeah, that is how it works. But yeah, you earn the right to slack off that day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I say, man, my thing.
Good, I ain't even doing that. Appreciate it though. Yeah. And why you like this back though? Why you like this back though? Oh. But, yeah, my bad, Honcho.
Good,
but I'm gonna get off, man, cause this nigga over here getting on my ass, talking about they watching the camera and telling all this shit. Like, I want to hear that shit. I don't give a fuck.
Appreciate the love, Brandon. Yeah, we gonna get that plane. Look, Brandon dropped the first dollar on the plane, so we gonna get this plane to what? Come on, dear folks, let's get this plane, man.
Hey, we gonna have a soul plane, baby.
Oh man, the dead plane will be live in the soul plane. I promise it'll go down for real.
It's gonna go down. All right, bro.
Well, that's a bad one, man. I appreciate the call, man.
Yo.
Nah, really.
What the hell are you?
That's wild, man. That's funny. And look, we get started. We on the way to this plane, baby. Hold up. Oh man. So that's wild. But yeah, man, it's a lot of crazy stories though. Like I say, but it ain't just Creflo, it's some of them other ones too, man. Like y'all seen old buddy was talking about, look, I know you ain't got the money, but you could get that credit card. You can take that credit card and send it to me. You sow this seed of faith with that credit card. You know, yeah, I know it's your last $1,000. You know, what he said, your last couple of bucks. Well, the apartment costs more than that. You know, you don't even have enough. So what you need to do is take that money and send it over here and sow that seed, and it's gonna come back to you 10. Like, man, look, I done ran some game in my life. In my younger days, I done said some shit. You know what I mean? You know, you do things, but I am not that cold-blooded. Like, I'm not, you know, I guess it's just a different level. I ain't never tried to break nobody for their last. You know, like knowing that's all you got to live, man, I show you some love or whatever. But to just try to break a mother for they motherfucking last, not even that they got the money, like they go apply for a credit, go get a credit card, man. Look, we take credit. All that shit, like motherfuckers will try to break a motherfucker for a last little piece of change and crumb. Motherfuckers be having kids and everything else, you know. They don't give a fuck about you, man. There's some cold-blooded motherfuckers out there. Now, do I believe that there are some genuine people out there? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't necessarily think it's the ones that's on TV and pushing certain messages and certain images, you know. Like I say, it's some wild stuff, man. There's definitely some wild stuff going on. You know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you want to provide that perspective, you know, shit, the line open. If you want to, you know, break them off in the chat. Like I say, it's always, this is why the den is so good. Like, we can all have differing opinions and understand, oh, yeah, hold on, look. Somebody sent something interesting. Look. Heard about some churches having some ATM machines. Yeah, that's a lot of them. Churches got McDonald's and ATM machines. All right, so here's an image that was sent. And this is interesting, and I want to know what folks think about this, okay? It says, Pastor, I got a question for you. It says, you're a man of God, right? Well, why is it that when you need money, you come to us, but when we need money, you send us to God? You know, let me chop this up, see if I can pull this up for y'all. I ain't gonna show y'all the pictures of the Cardi B queens. Let me see if I can do the diddly do here and let y'all see it for yourself. That's a little meme going on. There we go. Bow. And let's see. Where we at? Bow. Get it right. There we go. Get it right. But that's very interesting, right? Is that true or is that false? Now I know there are some churches who do things. They be giving away old food and shit. Some churches actually really do good things, you know. But I think it's like almost, it seems like those smaller churches that ain't really in pursuit of that big huge congregation. It seems like they are more genuine about what it is that they're seeking, you know. But it seems like those ones that are just in pursuit of passing the collection plate around 6 times, every time you say amen, the plate come back around. All right, there we go. Cut all the frivolousness off of it. Hey, folks, we trying to get that plane, man. Look. Brandon got the party started. We trying to get this plane. But yeah, so here's the meme. This is the meme right here. Okay, and I want to know what y'all think about that. Yeah, I didn't hear the whole. I didn't hear the whole story, but I saw something about the dude being gay. But here's the deal: if you fucking with Wendy, he's not too far off. Come on, Wendy look like a tranny, man. Let's be realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be realistic. Wendy looking like a man. Y'all know this. Everybody know this. But I want to know y'all's thoughts on. I want to know y'all's thoughts right here on this particular meme. And so, let me know how y'all feel. Because again, again, like I say, where's this picture from? Because this preacher got this nigga got a slick perm. What is this from? He's got all these filters and I can't even tell. It looks super familiar. That's kind of how I believe. And I don't believe that there is a heaven or hell. And I do agree that if you follow the protocol of what the Bible says, you will live a quality life. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about that to me is I don't have any issue with it. With with what it says. I mean, it's just what do they say? Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Somebody used that as the acronym. It's not that. And again, like I said, I don't agree with everything that's up in it. But I think if you follow, what is it? Proverbs, I believe. That you can live a quality life. And I mean, if you just follow certain things, you find yourself a good wife instead of out here hoeing it up. If you get out there and focus on like I say, a lot of knowledge that gets dropped now as far as this, some of this metaphysical stuff and some of these other things, the stuff that you can find in the Bible. Like I said, I think that there's a lot of good stuff in it. I mean, there's a lot of things that I do have questions about myself. Who was that? Eddie Griffin, who said, "Man, how all these niggas wrote these books, they all act like they knew Jesus the best. All these niggas tell the same story, but see, when I saw it, but that's how shit be. You ever ask one of your partners, you have 5 or 6 partners, everybody witnessed some shit, everybody seen some different shit. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is this, right? I'm looking at this because I told you I was arguing with me. We talking about Wendy, so we talking about the tranny story now. And they were talking about, well, did you ask the person's cousins? Did you ask this? Why the fuck would I want to ask somebody who is emotionally attached to a person who is in a situation? Of course they're going to skew the story, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I said, oh, my partner, if something bad happened to my partner, and I'm telling a story about it, then of course I'm going to skew it so that they sound like they were accosted in that situation. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Hello, it's me, Rashida.
Miss Rashida, how you feeling this evening? What would you like to drop in the den today, Miss Rashida?
I just wanted to say that the church is basically just a business. That's it. And, I don't understand how they can sit up there and preach to all those poor people and take their money and then go home to their mansions and drive home in their Rolls Royce and all them different expensive cars while they church members on the bus and in the church they going home to the house, to their apartments and everything. I just don't get it. Like, how can you live so much better than the people that you taking money from? You want 10% of they earnings, but do you give back 10% of the money you get from being a pastor? Do you put that money back into the church? Where are your tithes at? Like, I don't get it.
So why do you think so many people still, support it if they know that there's a lot of shenanigans going on in the church? They breaking you for your money. Why do you think so many people still go to church?
I think they just have hope and faith and believe that things don't turn around for them pretty much.
Okay.
Trying to buy their way into heaven when heaven is free.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So what do you think that you would you got to do to get into heaven?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
So what do you have to do to get into heaven? If heaven is free, what is it that you have to do to make your way there?
I think you just have to live your life the best that you can. I mean, I don't think there's any rules for getting in.
So were you ever a church-going person?
No.
Okay. Nobody in your family?
I mean, when I was forced to when I was younger,
Okay.
but when I got grown, I didn't never start going. It just wasn't for me.
Okay. So you ain't find no man to serve a side man sandwich to from the church? You know that's where they at now.
No, a lot of those men in there. A lot of those men in there want another man to serve them a side man sandwich. So I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on in them churches. I don't know. It might be a good place for a man to find a man. I don't know.
That's terrible. Somebody says it's reported that our people give $250 million a year to churches, and we collectively have nothing to show for it. I do believe that there's a ridiculous amount of money being spent and being given. I think if you took that same kind of money and reinvested in the same communities where a lot of these churches are located, that you would see a better return. But it's just my personal opinion.
Why we don't hold those churches accountable? We just let those pastors just spend the money on themselves. Why they don't put the money back into the community? That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Have more church-funded programs in the community. They open a church once a year on Thanksgiving and Christmas, try to pass out some groceries. That's about all they do.
You got hood niggas doing. You got dope dealers in the hood doing that.
I knew a church that was on real estate, and it was a homeless couple that was going to their church. They had kids and everything, and they let the people stay there for a month, like free. And then after that, the people couldn't pay their rent, and they put them people out on the street.
That's tough. Makes me think of a story where it was that chick who won a lot of money in that lottery, won that big Powerball a little while back. You know what I'm saying? That like $300 million or something like that. And she was fucking up anyway because she kept bailing her boyfriend out of jail because he kept fucking up and he was doing some other shit and her auntie got her money. But whatever church she was going to at that time, she had apparently agreed to. There was some type of deal that she said she would give $1 million to church, or the pastor wanted $1 million from her for her, thing. Now, and if she wouldn't have won the lottery, would you still want that $1 million? But anyway, that's another question. But the thing about it is, once she gave like over $500,000, it was like almost like $700,000, I think. But because it wasn't that full million, the preacher took her to court and was trying to sue her for $10 million, saying they had a verbal agreement over whatever. And so I'm trying to figure out how he got from $1 million to $10 million and not just the difference in what, was made up. So do you think that is really, he said that God told him to do that. So is that God or greed? What do you think about that?
I think the churches are just greedy, and that's not even money that she earned. That's money that, came to her as a blessing, and the church want to get a blessing off your blessing.
Yeah.
I had a cousin that came in for like $20,000, and the church told her she's supposed to get him $2,000, 10%. And I'm like, why? But she did it. I didn't understand the logic.
Yeah. How the church know you come into some money? That's what I be doing. Church colder than the FBI. They colder than the IRS. Like, How they know about all your funds and stuff like that?
Because she went into church telling them thank you for her blessing. Well, not them personally, but thank you for the blessing she had.
Okay. Oh, that's just lost. That's bullshit.
They want to make you feel like they had something to do with you getting your blessing.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, even though you said you used to go when you were younger, what made you stop going to the church?
I really just didn't have a church that I was interested in going to, and the one that I used to go to was Catholic, and I had become more of a Baptist person, but I don't know. The church be lasting too long for one thing. Then they take about 18 collections. It was just,
That's tough.
They had you in there all day long.
So you don't need that word all day. I mean, you got 6 other days out the week to chill.
Watch church on TV for free. Why I have to pay for church? I can watch it on TV.
Okay.
And then when they put that number up to call in your donation, I act like I don't see that.
They gonna come find you. The church. I'm telling you, they like the IRS. We got ratings. We know how many people been watching. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, we got the Nielsen box at your house. We saw that you was watching from this time from 1 to 3 o'clock. So we gonna go ahead and eat that. That's gonna run you about $200.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
So I got a question. Do you think that people genuinely get into religion, with genuine intentions, and then they kind of see how the game goes, or they see these other pastors being able to get away with that? How much do you think like ego plays a part of it? How much is it, just greed? How much is it that people are enabling them, to do these things?
I think they see how much people are into the Bible, and they use that against those people, and not against those people, I won't say it like that, but they use the faith that the people have in the religion and everything to go in their pockets. That's how I look at it.
Okay. And here's the reason why I find stuff funny. Like I said, I don't go to church. I don't really do anything like that these days. But I was raised Jehovah's Witness. And when I hear, this is why these things sound so odd to me when I hear about these preachers, these pastors, and things like that, because the way they do things is a little bit differently. There's no collection plate. There's none of that. There's a donation box at the very back of the church. That's it. If you got a little something to donate. Ain't nobody watching you. Ain't nobody saying how much you got. Ain't nobody doing all that. And
that's
all those things.
Y'all knocking on people's doors on Sunday morning. People don't answer a lot of times. The whole Witness knock on your door, don't answer.
They trying to help you out, player. They look, you ain't even got to go to church. We gonna bring it to you. But I've noticed
they bring it to your door. That's why they done made a lot of donations. They build new churches and everything. They collect a lot.
But here's my thing. But have you ever seen a Jehovah's Witness mega church?
That's true.
I've never seen. I've seen. Trust me. Like I say, I have my doubts and my questions with that too. But I look at the way they operate, and then I look at how some of these other venues operate. There's no particular head leader of a Jehovah's Witness organization, what they call them the Kingdom Halls or whatever. That there are committees and ain't nobody getting paid. Ain't nobody taking none of that money home. Ain't nobody like, look, we made this month. Let's go. And then shit, they do the work to build and they sell. They go out and buy the supplies. They build the shit up themselves. But these other churches, and that's why I say I see all this stuff that goes on. I guess that's why it's always stood out as odd to me. Like I don't see how people buy into it. But if you've never had those experiences, then you would, it wouldn't. You would think that's just the way it is. So that's why I look at a lot of stuff and I'm like, what's really going on? Like, how are these venues able to stay sustained with look, we ain't checking your money. We ain't, I heard you got a new job. You got a raise over there. We're coming, let's check your finances. Ain't none of that like that. It's give what you got. If you can afford $1, give $1. If you ain't got nothing that night, whatever it is, And that's why I say I just wonder and I question a lot of things. But you see a lot of these other places is they demanding that they want money, and then the pastor got a Bentley and shit. The only way I've ever seen Jehovah's Witness got a nice vehicle or something like that, and I ain't never seen one in a Bentley. is if they got a nice ass job on the side too, you know. And I've seen some motherfuckers do got some good ass jobs.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie,
And you know, some of them are in it for the money, and you can tell who those are. And then some are in it because they really want to spread the word to the people.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You already know Professor Trill. Yeah, and that's what I say, man. And that's why I look at it, the watchtower, they bring that watchtower that'll wait to your doorstep. But, you know, and that's my thing, though. Like I say, because I see how some of those folks operate, and I've seen how some of the churches. That's why I said if I ever did, I don't think it's going to happen. If I ever did go back to a Christian religion, it would most likely be something like that, because it's just I see a big difference in how they operate. But I know right now I don't think religion is my bag, because there was a lot of beliefs that growing up that way impacted me. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly. Why are they sending people letters talking about you behind on your dues? You can't come to church. I don't get it. Like that's just doing too much. Like want to see people check stubs. I mean, crazy to me.
And again, like I say, you know, like I say, I find it interesting. They say, how are the expenses of the church to pay for if nobody's putting any money in the church? I don't think there's a thing. You know, like, what I'm saying is that not saying that they don't have expenses. And yes, you know, you can request donations, but I don't think that you can sit here and say, well, because you're here, you need to pay this exact amount because you come to this church. It's supposed to be the word of God, especially as a Christian. You're supposed to be a giving person. You're supposed to be a loving person. You're supposed to help people who are down on their last. You're supposed to be willing to give yours. I don't think the church's expenses are that bad. If the pastor pulling up in a Bentley or a Ferrari, didn't they have a whole show? They had like a whole show. They had a whole show.
Like you paying the pastor, you paying for the pastor lifestyle more so than the church.
Yeah, because
it don't take that much to run a church. Yeah, because you paying for his mortgage on his $1 million mansion.
Yeah, you know.
Now come on.
And because the thing is, if the church getting upgraded, if you can go from you know a small little rinky-dink church, that means you can upgrade it and multiply it times 10. Right. Yeah, I think your money was all right in the beginning. You just got greedy because you want to put more butts in the seat so you can collect more money. That's just how I look at it. I don't think like everybody.
And then they have a raggedy ass church van to go pick the people up while they pulling up their $100,000 car. I don't get that.
Yeah, that's true. And you're entitled to believe that shit. I mean, everybody's entitled to believe what they want to. You know, I don't know what cult-like activities it is, but I guess you could say, because like I say, I look at the Mormons. I think Mormons are strange, and so I could be justifying Jehovah's Witnesses thinking Mormons are strange because they do some other odd things. But you're entitled to feel the way you feel. You know, however you feel like. As far as if you think it's a cult, this is why we're in the den. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And,
right.
You know, so there's that. But my thing is, I agree with you that I think a lot of this is greed. You know, more butts in the seat. The more seats, the more butts you can put in, the more checks you can collect. You know. And
exactly.
So, look, go put them kids in the Sunday school. We don't want them. We're gonna put them on the floor in the Sunday school. We don't need no seats for them. We need adults in the seats in here, so they the ones that's getting paid, got the jobs. You know,
exactly.
But all bullshit to the side, I do believe that there are some folks out there that are genuine, but they probably lesser seen. They're probably in smaller churches in smaller areas that you're just not gonna be familiar with, or they may be pushing churches out of their own homes. They have congregate. These are things that I've heard of. But as far as I don't believe. You know, these fucking churches that you can see from the fucking city skyline and shit. You know, it's just hard for me to believe they had their best interests. Joel Osteen, I don't believe in Joel Osteen. This motherfucker plays. This motherfucker's church is where the Rockets used to play basketball. Like, you have a stadium, an arena. A basketball arena is your church now. You know what I'm saying? So that's just that's why I have questions with him. But then when it was going down, like I said, when it was flooding out here in Houston, he was real hesitant.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He caught a lot of hell for that.
Yeah, and so that's just my deal.
Caught a lot of hell for not wanting to open his church up to those people.
Yeah, so that's what I say. I got questions about the integrity of some of these folks, but again, I'm just a man. These are just human beings. Every human being has flaws. So you know, like I say, I like to play devil's advocate. So if y'all over there getting irritated, take a deep breath. I'm just fucking with y'all. I'm push y'all buttons.
But you don't have to go to church. You don't have to go to church to have a relationship with God. I don't know why people feel like God is not in the church. God is wherever you at. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and that's what it's
I feel
supposed to
like
be.
I could talk to God in my house. I don't feel like I have to go to a church to let a pastor talk to God for me. I don't understand why his connection supposed to be so much better than mine. We all came from, I guess, God or whatever. We all his children, so why does one child have more rights to, or is able to communicate with him better? That's just what they want you to think.
Yeah, and I'm glad I was just about to say that tithing is not a thing. Like, and this is my deal. And again, like I said, I'm not the most knowledgeable Christian person. To me, this is what the idea of tithing was supposed to be. You offered your best. So if you were a shepherd, you brought the best of your flock to show God that you were appreciative, that you were willing to sacrifice your best goat,
Right.
your best cow, your best whatever in return, that you would be blessed with more. Your best, if you was a farmer, your best vegetables. Money, you don't have this $100 ain't better than this $100. Shit, it ain't even money no more. It's digital now. Like that, I believe wasn't the tithing done out in the Old Testament, but now they telling you, they'll tell you all this other Old Testament stuff except for tithing. Keep tithing. We need you to keep tithing, but everything else was so we can do all this other willy nilly stuff. But it's not that. You know what I'm saying? So again. But that's fine. Like I say, if you want to give up 10% of your cash, I'm not going to stop you.
Right, that's good.
I'm sure
And I don't understand why it has to be a certain percentage. Where did that come from? That sounds like that was man-made. 10%.
Again,
You
like
charge more than the government. Hell no.
Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you feel because you can have two churches. You could have, and this is why I say a lot of this stuff is sketchy because you could have two churches. They could both be Baptist. One Baptist church will say, God hates gays, and I ain't accepting this, and the other Baptist church might be run by a gay man and just say, no, we welcome everybody, and you come on in, it's all okay, and they'll pick and they'll choose, and again,
right.
Okay, exactly. So like I say, I wasn't super familiar, but I thank you for go ahead and sharing that with us. Roger, and so again, and like I said, and again, like I said, I don't know fully how you, but like I said, 'cause my mom, she's like I said, she's still a Jehovah's Witness, and she says a lot of these similar things. I see a lot of similar stuff that mom says that Roger, not everything, but again, I talk to her from time to time just to get an understanding of her perspective. But again, like I said, I'm not religious. I just like to know what people think. I find a lot of things interesting. Mosaic law. And that's what I say. That she was telling me that we're no longer under Mosaic law. Something else. I don't know. Like I say, I only know bits and pieces. So I just be talking shit. Like I say, to poke buttons. Put thumbtacks in seats and shit just to get people riled up. But like I say, it's just all about conversation. But is there anything else you would like to add to this, Miss Rashid?
You know what? I didn't get to speak on that transgender fender bender thing. I just want to say something about that right quick.
Right.
I feel like that was not a hate crime. And I don't understand why every time a transgender involved with something, they want to turn into a hate crime. That man hit somebody's car or something. That's what kicked all that stuff off. It's not like they just saw him walking down the street and jumped out on him like that. It was a cause to that. It wasn't right what they did, but it wasn't necessarily just no hate crime like that. I don't feel.
Yeah. I don't think it was that crime. I mean, like I say, come on, because if you look at the video, people try to justify it. You look at that video, that motherfucker's in a intersection, twirling and shit talking, and pointing fingers and doing all that other shit. And old buddy commenced to beating the brakes off him. And so it was what it. But I got something funny, and it's funny, but it's not funny. That motherfucker sure didn't look the same after that beat down as it was looking in them old made up ass pictures. See, that's why I don't be trusting pictures, right? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You said what I'm saying is it wasn't the man whose car that was hit that did it or paid. Here's my thing. I don't even think the man whose car got hit had anything to do. I think that the tranny was out there talking shit and just because how because again, like they said, the man who car got hit was a suspect, but they didn't arrest him, right? And then but old buddy, if
I
you watch
thought it was the man how he hit that beat him up.
Oh no, the motherfucker! If you watch the video, old buddy with the gloves, and it made me laugh because it made me think of Brody. Hey, Brody B Chronicles Part 4 about to come up in just a few minutes. But he had them gloves on, some football gloves on, beating up the tranny. But I just think, you know, you in the hood. Let's be honest. We know some ghetto fabulous folks. And when the ghetto motherfucker get out there and start talking they shit, who gonna check me? Who gonna do what? And you get to bump. But look, you not a female. You may think you're a female. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But you are a man. And so a man gonna try to look, because everybody been talking shit, because there was a lot of women out there. He was probably hoping a woman was gonna come up and he was gonna get to beat up on a woman or something, but that didn't happen.
Right.
But because they said people were saying before it happened that the dude was talking shit, the booker was talking shit to a bunch of women, and so somebody, if you watch the video, you can hear somebody say, man, $200, man, if you slide him, I pay you $200 if you slide him. Now I don't know if that was a car owner or I don't know if who it was, but like I say. The thing about it, and that's why I say I have so many issues with that video, not just the transgender aspect, the beating of the transgender, but the fact that we as black folks continue to support this nonsense. Man, take your ass in the house. Fuck what the fuck is going on out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
fuck all this.
exactly.
Like, we got to stop encouraging and pushing back. And then you wonder why people say certain shit or they always have these type of things to say about us. But we encourage it. We support this shit, you know, and this is what I say about, you know, people say, you know, black on black is a myth. It is true. You're most likely to get into an altercation with the people that you're most likely around. So if you live in a white neighborhood and the dog shit in your yard, you're gonna be mad at whoever white dog this is. If you're in a black neighborhood and your pit bull loose or whatever the fuck going on, you're gonna be mad at somebody black, you Mexican, and you bought the last of the fucking elotes, you're gonna be mad at whoever bought that shit. I mean, it's gonna be what it is. But, you know, my thing is, you gotta recognize that, but we continue to support just like the most outrageous behavior. And if you listen to the video, old buddy talking about, man, this such hood, it's like this every day. This is what we do every day, which is meaning that it's raucous. It's a bunch of tomfoolery. It's a bunch of stupidity going on every day, and we enjoy it. We revel in it. We living in that shit, and we promoting that shit. Like, we are not gonna get better as a people until we stop this nonsense. And this is why I say we got to disassociate ourselves from people who live in this behavior, who encourage this behavior, who do this kind of stuff. But, you know, all I'm saying is, yeah, the motherfucker was out there talking shit. The dude who beat her up, it wasn't his car. It was some other shit. And then, you know, it's just a whole lot of shit going on. So, you know.
And then we want to record everything and put it on World Star. I don't understand that. That mentality stuff, record everything like that. It's crazy for me.
That's the wild shit. Shout out to Shaq Kush, man. But yeah, so I agree with you. That motherfucker was out there talking shit, and the thing was, it was a hit and run, and so we just gonna act like, look, anybody, it don't matter if it's a man or woman, if a dude hits your car, and again, like I say, your car might be the only thing. If you're in an apartment, I mean, you don't own a property, you don't own a house, you gonna go and you gonna fucking you gonna go and stand up for that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just what the fuck
the
you
way
gonna
they
do.
tried to play that story though was like it was a hate crime. Like that's what they put out there, transgender. That jump out at people, you know, without giving, you know, a real headline, you know, a correct headline, you know. Why they say transgender hits car and this would happen. You know, they just tried to spin it like he's some person, you know, awful person attacks transgender, you know.
Exactly. Look, you know, because the thing is, I know there's more than one trend in that hood, and so if that was the case, you'd have heard most stories about motherfuckers beating up on trannies on the regular. That ain't a thing. It's because it started and that energy got, you know, fermented, and then it just overflowed, and then everybody out there encouraged it. When mob mentality, when people come out and they start hyping shit up, you can go to a club, you can go anywhere, shit, even in high school. Oh, you ain't gonna whoop that bitch. Oh, look, they talking shit. Oh, you know, and they gonna hype motherfuckers up and get motherfuckers excited to do some shit.
Exactly.
And that's what happened. So, you know, but people want to paint a story. They need that narrative to push that agenda. So, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Okay. What time the Brody B Chronicles coming on?
Oh man, it's finna come up next. That Brody B Part 4, Part 4 of 5.
Let me get off the line.
Already. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Miss Rashida.
Okay.
Already, you have a good evening.
Okay. You too. Bye.
Man, I seen a call coming in, man. Call back in. We'll take one or two more. Even though I was on time today. You know, I was on time today. I ain't even make y'all wait a whole minute. I was on time today. but we gonna make it take. I seen somebody calling in. Might be a very interesting call, so call back in so we take that call, and then we're gonna get into the Brody B Chronicles after the call I just missed comes back in, and let's take that one, and then let's get it because I've been excited. Look, I ain't read the Brody B. I want to see it for myself, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Look, you know what I'm talking about? World Star. I'm gonna start the Den Star. God damn it. We're gonna start taking the Den on the road. Okay, so I'm not sure what this one is. Let's see what this is. This is unexpected. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the Den this evening? Oh, what's the motherfucking deal, Brother Silent? How you doing this evening, man? All right. Okay. What you got? Tell me how you feel. Oh, hold on. My fault. I had you on. I hit you with the Roman. My fault. I had you. I had to unmute your call. This is Brother Charlene calling in. So he was saying that he wanted to comment on what happened up there in Dallas in the church thing. So my fault. I apologize about that, Brother Charlene.
Well, that kind of stuff in the hood, that kind of stuff happens all the time, man. It just is. This time it happened to transgendered. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. We got a lot of transgender. We got a lot of butch chicks or whatever in the hood. That stuff, we see that all the time. I don't even think the vast majority of black people even got a problem with it. With the with the transgender gay piece. I mean, personally, I know some. They cool with me. I'm talking about as far as people. They cool with me. I don't never see nobody inciting violence on there. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I think black people are the most accepting when it comes down to that kind of stuff. I mean, it always been that way. Black people didn't need a movement for that. That just was some tomfoolery. It ain't had nothing to do with gender or transgender, nothing. That kind of tomfoolery goes on every single day in any. I mean, you just be randomly walking down the street or driving through and see some shit like that. Anywhere in America, in the hood, anywhere in America, you can see that. I'm pretty sure maybe it goes on another community, but I'm talking about, black people. That we all know this. We all know that this ain't nothing new. And then everybody want to clutch their pearls and act like that's something new that they saw. I think anybody that got any connection or any just a casual observation of the hood could tell that shit happens there all the time. That the people that are from there, they're desensitized to that sort of behavior. Because if you look around and just look at the people that were standing around. Did you see anybody out there that look surprised? They that kind of stuff jumps off every day, or has the potential of jumping off every day. You know what I'm saying? That's like when Ice Cube made that song. It was a good day. He was just surprised not to have to use his AK or just simple stuff that would probably happen in the hood every day, And as of the church and Joel Osteen, the black church in general, the black church in particular, my view on the black church is, it's just got the same kind of chicanery, the same type of tomfoolery. And it goes on right there in the church. And it took me a while to come to grips with that because, of course, I was just like any other black man. I grew up in the church, and but the church that we knew in the 1950s and 60s that brought us through civil rights, that's not the same. That's not the. I don't know what this mess is today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is just pimps. Well, I do know what it is. We know exactly what it is. There's people pimping the black community, just like anybody else. There's people just pimping and fleecing black people. Names of black women, because you don't see black men not in the church. Black men, you go to most of these black churches, the only black, man is the preacher, maybe choir director, and a couple other people in the crowd, trying to get some pussy, But for the most part, black men don't go to church. Maybe a couple of women that may have dragged their husbands or boyfriends in there, maybe. But other than that, ain't nothing but a bunch of chicanery. Because the people that attend that church, and the stuff that's in that Bible, they hadn't read that Bible. We know that the people that did that, most people that in that church hadn't read that Bible. They didn't read that stuff, because if they had, most of the stuff that they doing in that church, the Bible is against. The Bible is against. Now, look, this is what they say they believe. In that Bible, it says the woman is supposed to be quiet in church. It's a lot of things in that Bible that, that the people that go to the black church, they ain't following it. No. They ain't following it. Now, my personal belief is that the average person that goes to church don't really believe that Bible. They don't believe it. They use it to control certain people that need to be controlled, things like that. But the most out of control people are the most people that attend the church. They're some of the most out of control people that you'll lay your eyes on. I found that once I stopped going to church, my focus got better. My logic got better, because that's the most illogical. Those are some of the most illogical people. Not all. It's not all. But those are some of the most illogical. Some people do need spirituality. There's nothing wrong with spirituality. Don't get me wrong. I'm not down on people that are spiritual, that believe in God, that are Christians and things like that. I'm speaking specifically of the chicanery that goes on in the black. I don't know about white churches. I've been to a few times, but I'm talking about the black church. I'm talking about the chicanery that we all know that goes on every day in the church. Did you hear about that pastor got killed in Georgia? This was like last week. There was a pastor got killed in Georgia by some woman. She showed up at his house. Wife, I believe his wife answered, who came to the door too. And the woman shot the man, shot and killed the man, shot the wife. And they said as he was shooting her, he said, "You broke." She said, "You broke my heart." And and that's another thing. These preachers fucking in their parishioners. That sex and stuff that goes on in those churches. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Everybody knows this is a little open secret. Everybody knows this. If you want some pussy, go to church. If you want some pussy, you can go to church. There's plenty of whores and scallywags right there in church. Especially in the black. I know that's tough to say, but it's true. But all of them trying to fuck the pastor, but that's another subject.
Is that because of women gravitating to men that are in power?
Well, women pay the bills. The people who pay the bills in the church, the pastor can't insult them by telling them you're not supposed to be having children out of wedlock, or fucking before marriage. All that stuff is in the Bible. You can't do that because the church is full of single moms, and so you can't say that. You know what I'm saying? They pay the bill, so you have to cater to, just like anywhere else. You have to cater to who's paying the bills. So you have to throw that part of the Bible out. You have to throw the what's glaring right there in your face. You have to throw it. You have to throw that out, because those are the people that pay the bills. That's why when you go there, you see them dogging the shit out of black men, talking about where the black men at? Black men ain't doing the shit. They dog black men because black men ain't in there. Black men ain't paying the bills, so they can talk about black men till the cows come home. Pretty much the black church has turned to just this, they could black. It's open season on black men in that church. They could talk all kind of stuff, but black women could do all kind of chicanery in their church, and nobody says anything because it's simple. They pay the bills. They pay the bills. They keep Creflo Dollar and what's that big ass shine that's up here, TD Jakes. They keep the black women keep the bills going. They keep the bills And that's why you see most of these men in leadership positions, not because that's what the Bible says. It's because these niggas are pimps. I mean, I just outright, let's just get down to the nitty gritty. It's not all. Are there decent churches? Of course, I'm not saying it, but I think we all can agree that they're few and far between.
Yeah.
And have you ever asked yourself this question? When you go to the hood, you can see some of the most degrading shit happen in the hood, and right up the street is a church. You can see dope selling. You can see murder, prostitution. I mean, you name it, right there, and it's probably going on right next door to a church. And these churches sit next to each other. Some churches next to each other. You could throw a rock from one church and hit the other church.
Yeah.
You ever thought about why that is?
Why is that?
All the black church does is really just sucks resources out of the community. That's really all it does. And, by some pimp pastor that don't even live in that neighborhood.
Interesting.
I've seen with my own eyes. I've seen this with my own eyes. A pastor jump up on the podium and brag about how many suits that he got and how many cars he got right there in front of a congregation where some people can't even afford to keep their lights on.
That's true. That's true. I seen a little clip of the dude who was sitting there was talking about, I wanted this particular plane. And not CDJ, this was a smaller one, but he talking about I went out and got that, and God blessed me so much I got another one. And he said, I see some of y'all looking mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Be happy for me. Don't be just like, shit, you got motherfuckers in there who don't got, nothing going on. And, it's terrible. Like, it's like a disconnect. They don't even realize the needs and the suffering of the people that's in their church because they living in the spoils of it.
They realize that they just don't care. I just don't believe that they care. The only thing they care about is themselves, and they keep people going by saying God's gonna bless you in the afterlife. But in this life, that guy is pimping, pimping black people, and it's just the bottom line. I mean, it ain't. I mean, I could understand the church was doing things for people, homeless people had programs. I mean, they call themselves having programs. They call them ministries. But I mean, what has changed in the hood? I mean, has the hood gotten worse since 1980, or has it gotten better?
It got worse. Yeah.
I mean, and all you see is churches popping up everywhere. I mean, up here, I don't know about Dallas, but up here in Dallas, man, we like the mega church capital. There's mega churches all over the place. We had all kinds of scandals. That cat out in Fort Worth that was raping those little girls. That I think Deion Sanders was going to his church. What was it? Hornbuckle. And I mean, just a scandal after scandal around here. And Eddie Long. I think that cat Jamal Anderson is Jamal Bryant is over his church now. And that guy Jamal Bryant. Yeah, done had multiple women multiple kids with women in his congregation, and he be all up on BET. I mean, these are people that black people consider leaders, and they look over this kind of stuff. They look over this kind of stuff. But now, if I were to say, "Hey, man, that guy, that guy's a shine," I would be painted as a demon. I would be ran out in the street as a coon, and and all this stuff. I'd be like, "Hey, man, this guy done did all this stuff, and y'all giving him money." Are y'all crazy? You know what I'm saying?
That's fine. But that's the thing. It's like, and what do you think? It inspires people to donate and celebrate these people. Like we talked about old buddy who got the big plane. Like, what do you do? Just because they just want to be a part of something? Do you think they really believe this man is doing the works that he says he's doing? I mean, what is it that you?
They into this God will provide this fairy, the pixie dust deal that that money gonna fall out of the sky, because that's really what he preaches. He don't really say it like that, But I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me that her car got repossessed.
Yeah.
And her husband is one of these guys that goes to the church. He's like a deacon in one of these churches. And those deacons, they something else too.
Yeah.
And he's like a deacon that go to one of these churches. And her and their car got repossessed. And the first thing came out of his mouth, instead of him going to get another job and handle it, make sure that she got a car to drive every day to go pick the kids up and things like that. He turns around and tells her God will provide. And they took that car, and like I said, that's the kind of logic that these people, God gonna provide. You know what I'm saying? While at the same time they think that, okay, it's another thing too. Black people play the lottery real heavy. You know what I'm saying? I don't really fuck with the lottery. I might play it every now and again just for shits and giggles. When it gets way up there, just to dream a little bit. I might fuck around a little bit, but I don't. Black people play the lottery and then go pray to the Lord, please let me win this lottery, and things like that. They, instead of putting in the work, what it takes. Now, this is not all black folks now, because but I'm just saying that people go to that church, they believe, I'm gonna hit this $1 million, I'm gonna hit this. And every now and again, somebody may do it, but that lottery, more than likely, more than likelihood of chance of you winning the lottery. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Okay. Now, Ms. Sheila, I see you saying it ain't nothing new that these pastors sleeping people, and you saying it's everywhere, but then you saying you're at the wrong church. So how do you validate it being everywhere, but then saying it's the wrong church? So that must mean that if it's everywhere, it's that all these churches, a lot of these churches are wrong then. Is basically what you're saying. That's somebody in the chat was saying something different. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of these churches are. Many of them are. They're more than it is, more than it's not. I mean, it's hard to discern. It's not really that hard to discern. I mean, it's really not. The thing is, the parishioners are being told what they want to hear. There are certain things that people want to hear at the end of a work week. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really want to hear what the Bible really got to say. A lot of these churches don't even preach the Bible. They'll spit out a Bible verse here and there, and then talk about that. Then spin it all around all the whole sermon long. But a lot of these churches just avoid the things in the Bible because they know they can't say those things because those people just got through doing it the night before. Yeah. So or just got through doing it right before they walked in the church. They can't really do it. And most of these churches are like this. Most of them, especially in the hood, most of these churches are, especially in the hood. White churches too now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not leaving out white churches because we know about these big evangelists and how these guys were pimping folks back in the 80s. You remember them televangelists? They were real. They used to cut up back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Those old televangelists, man. They used to get those older white women and older, those widows for that money. And they was flying around on jets and stuff too. They said they was doing the same. They was doing the same thing. They was pimping worldwide. They still kind of do it. That televangelism, they got 700. They got a few of these channels, now and everything. But I would argue that they were real off the chain in the 90s. In the 90s, those guys were cutting up, man.
Yeah, absolutely. They still out there wild. I think it's just a little bit more low key, but they still out there. They still out there doing some stuff. Yeah, they still out there. You see it all over. All over. This is all like I could talk from what the church that I went to. It was a black church, and it was the same thing. The same thing. And I just think people, if you can't say anything about the pastor, you can't say anything about what you see going on right before your eyes. You can't say nothing about it. You can't mention it. You can't mention it to your mom or your auntie. You can't mention it. The stuff is going on right there before your eyes. And that's just the way it is. You can't piss mama off. You can't say, "Hey, mama," you can't do that. You can't piss auntie off. And be some stuff that happen right there, right in front of everybody's face. And they're like that. They're just acting like it didn't happen. Yeah. What is with the willful ignorance?
Well, it goes back to with your topic when you talk about logic.
Yeah.
You have to willingly throw logic out of the window in those places. You have to willingly do it. And see, those pastors know that. They know that they pray on that. And you have to willingly throw logic out of the window in order to, function like that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about people that don't have logic. I mean, if you have a certain amount of logic, all you got to do is look at look at that church and what's going on and how they sucking resources out of the black community and away from black folks. I mean, it don't really take just a little casual observer of that church, and you can say, "Hey, man, something ain't right here." And people go to that, they still go to that church every Sunday. Now, church attendance is going down. They've done studies on this in the especially in black community. Black women are losing faith. There's a lot of different reasons for that, but it's still, going strong. Especially you got a guy like Joel Osteen. I think most of his congregation is black, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not
So,
super positive.
huh?
I said, I'm not sure. Oh, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, from what I understand, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe most of Joel Osteen's congregation is black. And they pay the bills. That's why people are so upset when that flood happened and he didn't open those. He didn't open those doors up. That should have told you right there what that guy is there for. He's there. He's there for him. And he's there to line his pockets. And it's just you could do a lot of reading on this, man. Like there's a lot of stuff that comes from slavery in that church that they still practice in that church that comes from slavery. A lot of things. Now, I can get into books and things that you can go into and read, but I ain't gonna get into all that tonight. But I give an example though. Staying in church to 2 and you ever notice that black folks stay in church like 2 and 3 o'clock sometimes?
Yeah.
They have service that goes to like 2 to what they long time. White folk go to church, 10 o'clock, they out at 10:30. They gone. You know what I'm saying? Black folks be in church for, having, now a lot of them don't do it. Now these New Age churches, they having 3 and 4 services. That's just because what they doing is they, doing it like an assembly line. One service here to collect the money from all them services. But there's churches that still exist that have been going on since slavery. They had to be in church to get there 8 and get out 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And that's a direct holdover from slavery. That's a direct holdover. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna abbreviate it, but that's a direct holdover from slavery. So what you got up in there a lot of times are slaves, or mind tricks that they used to play on slaves. Now that's tough for a lot of people to hear that go to church. I know that's tough, but it's true.
Yeah.
And you can get this book by C. Eric Dyson called The Black Church in America. Talks about that. Talks about the mosque, Muslim mosque, all that. They got debated Malcolm X. They got debated Malcolm X because Malcolm X didn't like what he had to say about the Muslim mosque, and he debated Malcolm X right there on YouTube. See Eric Dyson.
I'll check that out.
Yep. So, but hey, brother, I don't want to hold you up too long.
Okay.
I just thought I'd get my little 2 cents in about the topic today.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing that, man.
All right. How's it later?
All right, brother Son, I appreciate the call. Okay. Interesting. A lot of, and yeah, like I said, I enjoy stirring the pot. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy stirring the pot. If y'all didn't see that meme that was shared up there, I find it interesting. Some of the perspectives that we have. We have certain folks that are, seem to be blindly kind of defending the church at all costs. You have certain people who are supporting the Christian faith, but not necessarily supporting any and all churches. And we have people who are whatever's going on. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who do we have calling into the den? I apologize for your ears.
It's Edmund.
Edmund, of all people, Edmund. What's the motherfucking deal, Edmund?
So, in what situations would you say that logic cannot be separate from emotion?
I don't think that's the thing. I think it's that it would always you have to separate at some point. There's at some point you're operating off logic. At some point you're operating off emotion. I don't think you're doing both unless you're doing something that is smart, but it makes you happy. I guess there could be some type of situation. If you're like maybe a nerd and you're doing the right thing always, and it makes you extremely happy, maybe that works. But I don't think I don't think that's it. I really don't know.
So, would you say like religion is kind of one of those situations where, logically you may not, let's say like, for example, an extreme religion forces you to do something that's immorally correct, but emotionally you feel like that makes you spiritually sound, I guess. Like, how do you feel about that? For example, I don't want to say terrorists, for example, but, that happens sometimes. And
but the thing is, like, people get so confused that if they believe that they can be convinced into doing something that would be immoral, they believe it's moral, they believe it's for the right cause, they become blinded by the faith, and they allow that faith to supersede whatever reason that they have. So in their minds, what they're doing is the right thing. There's no immorality in it. They believe that it's what must be done for the cause or whatever else it is. So to us who are standing out on the outside looking in, you're like, hey, that's stupid. What the fuck are you doing? That's not right. Hey, don't do that. It doesn't make any sense. But to them, in their minds, it makes complete sense. So, there's that.
Okay. Would you apply the same situation to, let's say, if you had a child that you love a lot, but you know that they're not a good child? Like, how would you approach those situations where you want what's best for your child, but you know that they're not on the right path?
Then I would operate. Maybe logically, I wouldn't. Again, that's why I talked about the motherly thing earlier, and that's why I think you need a balance between mothers and fathers in the home. Even fathers that do it too. Like we talk about fathers and daughters, but I think that as a parent, to make the right decision, you have to operate logically if you want that child to develop. You can't continue to just blindly be in love and ignore the faults that this child has, and then it's too late to correct it, and then they suffer. If you want them to be a capable adult in society, then you need to correct those faults. Your love needs to be set to the side. Your logic needs to override, and you need to do the things that it takes to get them on the proper path. Otherwise, you're actually doing more damage in the long run by you loving them. What happens when you pass away? What happens when you're no longer able to do certain things and they have to go out in the world and fend for themselves? Now they become used, abused, or they fuck up, they end up in jail or whatever else it may be. So the smart thing to do, the logical thing to do, is to correct those behaviors, whether it makes you feel good or not. If that child has a problem, it needs to be regulated. But if you continue to let them do it because it makes you feel good, not to chastise them or not to correct the mistakes that they're making, in the long run, you're doing more damage.
Okay. I just wanted to leave off with one more point. For Christianity, I know you may not be a religious person, but compared to other religions like Islam and usually when you compare Christianity with other religions, you see that Christianity isn't really known to be violent. Like, you see a lot of people change. And so my question is, do you see Christianity as a way to emotionally and spiritually change someone, to get them back on track? Do you see something as that to get them back morally on a correct side? I think it
depends. I think it depends on that situation. And why I'm saying that is because if you want my honest opinion, from being around Christians and lots of different variations of Christians, and then say being around more Muslim people or whatever else, and it's going to upset some folk. Muslims, in my opinion, are much more devout to their religion than most Christians are. You have a lot of Christians who will say one thing, do another. Muslims are devout in the sense of diet, sacrifice, the times they pray, the way they commit to it. You know, again, like they do a whole lot more. You have a lot of people who say, I'm Christian, but I'm going to go fuck up for a little while. I'm going to go fuck this up, knowing that this is against the rules, but I'm going to do it and I'm just going to pray for forgiveness. You have Muslims and who do the same thing too, but the majority, or they not having that shit. They look, hey, nah, ain't no way, that's against my religion, you know. A lot of them smell like curry too, but it is what it is. But my thing is, from what I've seen, because I've seen a lot of people that claim Christianity, and I've seen a lot of devout Christians, but I'm just saying from my perspective and how I've seen them operate, and maybe I don't know some of the inner workings, but I've seen some Muslims that, you know, hey, you got a certain set of rules that you got to abide by. You tell an American Christian not to eat some food, they gonna fight your motherfucking ass. Tell them motherfuckers to fast throughout, they gonna fight your motherfucking ass. Them motherfuckers do that shit for a whole holy month and some other shit, you know. And I'm talking shit, and I'm making little jokes with it too, but honestly, just I think the things that come with the religion in itself, whether it's right or wrong or whatever you believe in it, the actions that I've seen behind it and the physical toll that I've seen them go through, I've seen a lot more that seem more devout than a lot of Christians that I've seen. And again, when you talk about Christians not being violent, it depends on the historical reference you're using, because you can talk about the Crusades and you can talk about all that other shit. There was a lot of people wiped out in the name of holy wars, you know what I'm saying? And same with jihad and same with everything. Like every history has, every religion has some violent aspects into it in the name of that religion. It just is what it is, you know. And somebody's using that as a reason to go do this or to go invade this country because they need Christianity, or to take over this country because they don't believe in Islam or whatever. So every culture, every country, every religion has that. Right now, it's just that the Muslim, Islam, whatever the difference is in that, is doing way more damage than anybody else in the current time that we're living. So from our frame of reference, we see that as the negative. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the way I said. I think every religion has its good, it has its bad. I think it's just depending on what your culture is as to how you get impacted by it.
Right, because if I'm counteracting what you said, you know, I feel like I agree with you. I think a lot of Muslims are actually more passionate about their religion, but I also viewed it from the other side of, if you look at the Quran, and my thing is like, why are most terrorist attacks? Why are most of them involved? Why are most Muslims involved in these terrorist attacks? You don't see Christians committing these acts. And so my thing is it the way they interpret the Quran? Is it the fact that, you know, maybe it's something in the religion that's telling them to do this? Because I don't see any extreme Christians out there. I mean, you may have some, you
don't think the people like in those countries in the Middle East, you don't think that they see it as Christians coming to rob them of their resources and oil and bombing them? You don't think they see it from that angle? And I'm not saying that's what it is, but you can push propaganda, you can push a certain rhetoric to people the same way we get pushed a certain rhetoric, that because most of us generally don't understand the nuances to it. So you don't think that they see it, you know, when they walk outside and somebody's dropping bombs on wherever they live or whatever like that they're not seeing it as, oh, those are Christians coming over here and robbing us for resources. They're going to look at every American as Christians, as we're supposed to be a Christian nation. They're not going to know the individual religions, because the funny thing is, it's a lot of those Middle Eastern countries where there are Christians and other practicing religions, but we don't think about that. We automatically assume, you know, Muslim or whatever it is, because that's what we're fed. We're not going to look into it. And again, like I say, just playing devil's advocate, but they can see it the same way. And we're talking about, again, it's the time period you live in. If a motherfucker came in on a horse with a cross and was beheading everybody because they wasn't reading the Bible, they wasn't saying the name of Jesus or whatever, would you not consider them a terrorist, depending on what part of the world you were living in, if that's not what you were normally used to? You would call it, but that just wasn't the term. Terrorism wasn't the term. This is a convenient term to identify somebody who's not agreeing with our particular beliefs. So like I said, it just depends on how you want to look at it. Anybody can be persuaded to believe anything, depending on the word, the way you word it, the way you use it, and how deeply you are ingrained on whatever side of the argument. You're going to see it a certain way. You're going to block off any logical argument of anything else. You're going to assign the emotional aspect to it because, say, I'm a Christian. I don't want to hear anything about Muslims. They're trying to convert me from my religion. They hate all Christians. That might not be the case. There's groups of Muslims for Jesus and all this other stuff that goes around. Like I said, there's a lot of nuance to it, but we don't want to do that. We want to operate in generalization so it's easier for us to process it. And that way, we don't have to really care about certain elements and certain aspects of these arguments. We can just lump it all into one category and say it is what it is. That's the way it is. There's no other way. That's just how we think. That's just how we operate, man.
Right. No, I understand from their perspective, but I feel like maybe you were saying that, I don't know if they feel like this, but do you think that maybe Christianity is a white people religion?
Apparently it's a lot of people doing it. You know, like I said, apparently it's all over the continent of Africa now, and they raising dead bodies and, you know, getting the dick sucking demons, and, you know, it's a lot of, we just been talking about black church and Christianity here. I think that it may have originated with the white folks, but it's definitely spread, you know, to many other countries. So right now, I don't know how you would identify it as just a white religion. I think you probably got more white people leaving Christianity than you do blacks. You have more white people probably practicing other religions. They're more open, I think, to practicing or examining other religions than blacks are. You know, black folks are stagnant. It's either all or nothing, all Christianity or nothing. Yes, you got a couple of the Muslims, but you got to go to jail to become a goddamn Muslim. You know, and again, I'm making jokes, folks. But what the fuck you talking about? But you know, for the most part, no, I don't think it's just a white religion. I think it's everybody taking that shit in.
All right, so I guess I'm gonna hang up and let Broderick call in. So that's a bet.
All right. That's a bet. Appreciate the call, there, man.
All right.
Look, y'all get this. I'm finna start. Look, I was here on time. I'm giving y'all extended. I'm gonna start taking DN minutes. Goddamn it, I'm finna take 12 minutes a day off. But here's the deal, man. Okay, you say we'll call in tomorrow. Okay, you got you one of man then infiltrated it. So here is the motherfucking deal. Now, I'm waiting on a particular call. I was trying to take one. Like I say, Edman snuck in. I know I missed Broderick call. There was another call I was waiting to try to take before we got into the Brody B Chronicles. Because I've been ready to read it. I've been ready to read this for the last about 40 minutes now. You know, because I know y'all been waiting. But you know, hey, Jack. You know, it is what it is. These stories been good. So hold on, let me check something. I will take one last call in particular. If it ain't the call that I'm expecting, then I ain't gonna answer your call. God damn it. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, man, one night. All right, let me open this secret storage location where I have. Oh shit, it's gonna be a good one, goddamn. Oh, goddamn. This is gonna be a goddamn good fucking story. Do. I'm waiting. I'm gonna give I'll take this last call right here. And this is the last call of the night. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
What's the motherfucking deal?
What is going? Is this Captain Cushington himself?
Yes, sir.
Already, man. Kush, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drop in the den this evening, man?
Man, all I want to say is fuck the religion. Take care of ourselves. Because that's what counts. got several council votes. Fuck all this religious talk and all the other bullshit. Take care of yourself.
I agree, man. We gotta take better care of ourselves, man. We gotta take care of each other. So, any other thoughts that you would like to add to the conversation tonight? Hello, hello. You still there, Christian? Okay. I guess he didn't lay it down. I guess no. But shout out to Cushington. You know, like I say, Cushington slowly but surely getting back in action, man. It's good. It's good to hear from him. But we're gonna make that the last call of the evening. And y'all don't want to see me. Y'all don't want to see me get this. Man, Brandon the only one who want to see me get this plane, man. Don't nobody else want to see me get this plane. Y'all ain't trying to see a player get a plane, man. I'm trying to be like Creflo Honcho Dollar, whatever the fuck his name is. Look, y'all ain't trying to let me see the friendly skies and all that good shit. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Cause I'm not even reading it. I'm just looking at the contents. Man, look, Brody B got to write a book, man. All I'm saying, Jack, is this is looking intriguing. Very intriguing. All right. Y'all don't want to read it. Y'all ain't trying to read this Brody B Chronicles, man. Y'all don't want it. Y'all don't want the Brody B Chronicles. Y'all want to wait till tomorrow night. Y'all don't want this. Y'all don't want the Brody B Chronicles tonight, huh? Y'all don't want the Brody B Chronicles. Y'all let me know. I don't think y'all do. Got him. Y'all want to pass on the Brody B Chronicles? Y'all don't want to read it tonight? Nah, I'll just read it to myself, man. I'll keep it to myself, man. I guess I'll just start skimming through this myself. Y'all want the Brody B? I need a vote. We need a vote, man. So what does W mean? I don't even know. A win? The win? Did I type a W somewhere? I don't even know. Y'all don't want this. Y'all don't want that Brody B Chronicles, man. You know. Let me see. Let me get some. Let me see some ones in the chat if y'all want this Brody B action, man. Let me see. Let me see who really wants it. Marcus say he don't want it. You know, Captain Digger say we can pass, man. You know, I'm just trying to find out who really wants the Brody B Chronicles, man. You know, I'll read it to myself. Y'all just miss out. I'll keep parts 4 and 5 to myself, and then tell him just to release it as an ebook and sell it to y'all. That's what I would do. Hey, bro, ain't nobody going for all that shit. You gonna get your ass up out of here and say that shit for some sauce. I didn't say she don't want to read it. Okay. Yeah, that's what I say. The title of this one is Brody B Chronicles Part 4. The big city ain't got nothing on me. Look, bro, Lee came and fucked it up. I don't know if y'all voting for PJ Tucker or to read the Brody B Chronicles. I'm lost now. I don't even know. All right, let me stop fucking with y'all, man. Let's get into it. I just had to make y'all wait since I've been waiting patiently to read this. Man, it's looking very, 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 very interesting. All right. Welcome to the Brody B Chronicles, Part 4. The big city ain't got nothing on me. Part 3 continued to outline some of the major players in my story. Already. Appreciate the love, AB. Plain donation. That's what I'm talking about, baby. We on the what? We on the way. Shout out to AB, Anthony Bailey, man. Appreciate the love. Look, hey, man, we only need what? 10 million more of those, and we on the way. We got the plane, baby. All right, let me get back to the story mode. Say part 3 continued to outline some of the major players in my story. As well, it described how my ego was beginning to overtake me. As pressure began to build up, the walls began to crumble. I would dust myself off and come out on top once again. A major change was on the horizon for me and my small family. On the week of my 18th birthday, I received a call from my cousin Jamal. Hey, Jess Sarah, what's the motherfucking... Jess Sarah caught it just in time. Look, we just got started on the Brody B Chronicles. Hey, we on the look. That's what I'm talking about, baby. We on the way to that plane. Fuck, Creflo Dollar, goddamn. I'm gonna get that new shit. I'm gonna get that 2019 edition. So on the week of my 18th birthday, I received a call from my cousin Jamal, freestyle bars. He, knowing that I was working 2, sometimes 3 part-time jobs to provide for my future wife and son, he offered me an opportunity that I could not refuse. It was a job as a telemarketer. The pay would be shit, but the opportunity was getting out of Lamarck and moving to Houston to live with my favorite cousins. I called my woman, laid out the details of this opportunity, hoping I wouldn't face any opposition about her from her about leaving. With no apparent blockades, 24 hours later with $5 worth of gas in the tank of my Honda Civic, it was H-Town, I'm on my way. That's what I'm talking about. Make the moves, baby. Who was I kidding? I would have jumped at the opportunity to move anywhere far away at this point, the way things were going for me back home. The clique was fractured. My deeds were starting to take a toll on me. However, this temporary move wouldn't just be a mere escape. I actually had a plan. I needed to work, save money, and while in the city, find us a decent apartment to soon have my own place, while also attending a trade school. My plan seemed to be a noble one, but there was one major issue. I couldn't keep a job longer than a couple of weeks at a time. Not only that, I couldn't stay away from the hometown I had grown to despise. I was back in Lamarck as often as possible. Gas prices were less than $1 a gallon, so I drove a small car, so it was almost like I'd never left. Every weekend, and I remember that less than $1 gas. Anyway, y'all don't know about that. Y'all just don't know. Every weekend I was back home and up to no good. I began drinking heavier and almost religiously drinking and driving. 6 months and several jobs would pass, and I finally found an apartment on Houston's southwest side. 8 Leaf to be exact. In my eyes, it was wonderful. My mother and I briefly took a tour of the apartment complex and viewed a few models, and all was just perfect. At this particular spot. We even had the option to choose our carpet color. Washer and dryer was included, and it was close to my school. Things were looking up for us until the day of our move. As I gathered up our things at a U-Haul, my woman and I were all smiles, looking at each other with a feeling of wonderment. A fresh start, a new place, no more hood drama, no more gangs and drug violence that we had experienced back home. This was the big city, and we would never look back. As we made that left turn into our new apartment complex, our jaws would drop once again. The first thing we saw was niggas. Sagging pants, dirty wife beaters, hair picks and afros, 40s being passed, and the familiar aroma of dank. What the ever-loving fuck? This was not in the brochure, nor did we see any of this during the tour. We were right back in the hood. We just left this shit, I said. My woman was very stoic. She didn't say anything at all, but the look in her eyes said to me, what the hell did you bring us to? If that wasn't enough, upon meeting our new next door neighbor, fiddling around with his car, he explained to us that he was rigging his broken car window with duct tape and razor blades because, as he explained, these niggas keep breaking in my shit. Making matters worse, I hadn't yet explained to my woman that the day before I'd been fired from yet another job for poor attendance. Not only that, but the extra money I had used to purchase books for school. Talk about a quick change of fortunes. I couldn't help but to feel like I was being punished in some fashion due to the fact that I'd been spending the majority of my time getting high on my own ego. Regardless, priority number one was to get into school. So my wonderful future wife, still 17 at the time, began working as a cart pusher at the local Albertsons grocery store. Yes, $4 an hour, she supported us. While I drove to school, she took the bus to work. My son would have to spend long periods of time away from us because we couldn't afford daycare consistently. I was a piece of work, or some other four-letter word. I didn't have any man skills about me at all. I was learning on the fly, but mostly all the wrong lessons. This big city shit was not working out as I had imagined it would. That being said, I still made a point to visit Lamarck every weekend. I made it to every party, every football game, and most of that time leaving my woman at home to work while I spent the entire weekends away. The whole time that I was self-serving my own interests, I always felt that I was being protected by a higher power. This became clearly evident on the weekend of the annual Clash of the Causeway football game between Lamarck and Galveston. I had to be there. All of my classmates were still seniors in high school, and I had never missed a game. This was a must-attend event. So there I was, broke as hell, but looking fly as ever, without a care in the world. I linked up with my boy Spiller, Hot Rod, and Lele around 4 p.m. on that Friday, and that's when the beer, gin, and Southern Comfort started flowing. The 3 for 10s were in heavy rotation, and all was well. We even had a couple of skeezers lined up for entertainment after the game, but little did I know that on this night I would receive my first major wake-up call. Later that evening, as we loitered in the parking lot of the local Jack in the Crack, along with at least 100 other young degenerates, the trunk was popped, gray tapes were blasted out of my 12s, and of course we had so much liquor that we were passing out large cups to anyone passing by. This was a common occurrence, but at this time I felt a bit different than normal. Yes, I was drunk like any other day, but I was far less in control this time. It didn't occur to me that mixing beer, clear liquor, and dark liquor over a period of roughly 6 hours was not a good idea. I was wasted like never before, but still hyped, still wanting to party and live it up. You only live once, right? Luckily, my friends took notice that I was not able to function as normal, and they offered to drive the rest of the evening. We ended up back at Spiller's house, unassumingly in for the night, until I got a call on my Promco cell phone from a young lady that I had met a few weeks prior. This chick was bad, and I had been talking cash shit about what I was going to do to her as soon as I got the opportunity. Well, tonight was the night to cash in. She came by to pick me up, and I drove my drunk ass to the beach in Galveston. I was about to make good on my promises along the shoreline in a dark spot at the base of the seawall. The only problem was I was too toasted to function, so to speak. She ended up dropping me off at Spiller's house, clearly upset that she had wasted her time with me. As I stumbled inside, my tail tucked between my legs among an amused group of my friends, I became extremely belligerent, challenging my boys to get up and keep the party going. The problem is that they were all tuckered out, and they advised me to chill out and go to bed. We got your keys, niggas. You can't go anywhere. You can't go nowhere anyway, Spiller said. I was royally wasted and should have heeded their advice. But what they didn't know is that I had a spare key in my wallet. As they all began to doze off, I took the opportunity to jump in my car and attempt to take off. Boom! What was that? I thought. I could see my boys all rushing out of the house to see what the commotion was. I had hit the next door neighbor's van parked outside. I didn't even realize it. To me, it was just a speed bump. I put the car in reverse and then drive, almost running over my friends in the process. I took off and they were helpless to stop me. Things went black for me at this point, and I'm not sure of what happened between Lamarck and Clear Lake. But my next memory was a police officer knocking on my window. He was a tall white man with blonde hair. He told me to get out of the car. I complied. He then told me these words: "Look at what you did," pointing to my mangled front end. I was shocked and still hadn't realized what happened. He then told me Get back in the car and relax. I'm going to call someone for you. I remember him being very calm and soft-spoken, but there was a disappointment in his voice. He called my woman first. She was understandably upset, but couldn't do anything for me because I had left her home alone in Houston with no transportation. So the officer called my mom, who then arranged a ride for me. The crazy part of this is that I didn't give him any phone numbers, and I had left my cell phone at Spiller's earlier that night. Mind you, I was driving drunk, my tags were out, I had multiple warrants for my arrest, and yet I managed to wake up the next day at my mom's house seemingly unscathed. I realized then that I had dodged a bullet. I had to at the very least track down this officer to show my gratitude for letting me off the hook. Shockingly, when I called looking for this officer, he didn't exist, and they never received a call about my traffic stop the night before. It was then that I knew God was watching over me the entire time and sent an angel to protect me. Even to this day, I remember getting a vision of the entire incident from a third-person perspective, as if I was out of my own body watching my own foolishness. It was apparent to me that God was sending me a clear message. Enough is enough. The Brody B Chronicles concludes with part 5, The Two Doves. Interesting. I'm wondering, I'm wondering if Sheila's stream, is your stream behind the rest of ours? I'm curious. Interesting. Man, look, Jack. I'm telling y'all, the reason, like I said, I hear so much. Now, the end, I can't necessarily say that I relate to, but just all of these references, you know, popping the trunk, great tapes. Now, I ain't never had no prime code, but I was familiar with the prime code. Shenanigans, just a lot of stuff. A lot of very interesting things. So let's see what y'all talk about in this nonsense. Let's see, I'm trying to get that G6, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Trying to get that plane like Creflo, baby. Nobody listen to brother, he don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. Yeah, under $1. I remember that. I remember one time shit on some foolishness. My homeboy, he had a fucking, what was that? A Toyota Tercel? Was that what that was called? And we ran out of gas. And this was like, gas was like cheap. And motherfucker, we was like a couple of miles down the road from the house. Motherfuckers took 69 cents and put that shit in the tank and got home. Yes. Shout out to the Den folk. I got a couple other shirts on the way. A couple of them came in today, you know, and I'll probably rock another one maybe Friday or so. Duct tape and razor blades. Can we take our donation? No, you can't. Not allowed. Once they're in, they're in. Fucking Heidi. Let's see. The jitters in the store, yes. Yeah, the prime code, man. That's some throwback stuff. Yeah, the boom was in all big letters, so I had to drop it, man. Let's see. Home Alone in Houston. Yeah, it's very key. The person kept locking keys to the car. You realize the person was in the trunk. Ain't that a bitch? Yeah. I'm gonna start putting some stuff out. I just gotta find I don't gotta find. I just gotta put the shit up. So I'll probably start putting it up tomorrow. Yeah, you gotta get through all the Heidi shit talking. Heidi show up just to talk shit. and then go back to Germany. You know what I'm talking about? Let me see. But yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff going on. Let me make sure I caught everybody's stuff. Heidi fucking up the flow. Still talking on the prime code. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna start putting some stuff up. Or if I don't do it tomorrow, I'm gonna start basically putting up a link to what I wear. So like if I rock this shirt, I'll put the link in the video when y'all see some of the other ones. I think y'all might like the other one. I don't know if I'm gonna wear it tomorrow. I might save it for Friday. Friday, I was telling y'all that we may start doing like a free-for-all day, kind of a themed day. So Fridays might be, I don't know, because it's already fucking Fridays, you know. So we'll see. Because I think like once a week to kind of just have like a free range day would be good. Just, you know, so people can address whatever's on their mind. They might go ahead and have a fucking Friday. We'll see. And then Heidi's the reason the Astros lost tonight. So there's that. We might get sued for that one. Look, I don't know. When did we do? I gotta double check. When was the survey? We took the survey on Friday last time, right? I think it was Friday. We're gonna start coming the weekends. We're gonna have days for the weekends. It'll be fuck 'em Friday or free for all Friday, survey Saturday, and then and then fucking confession Sunday. Look, somebody gonna get caught up in one of them, but you ain't gonna be able to avoid all the confessions. We're gonna squeeze something out of you one of these days. So there's that. The survey. look, I gotta come up with some new survey questions. Yeah, that survey den was. I just gotta go see whichever den I put in fucking. The last couple that I put fucking. Not for minors on. It got very interesting. Very, very interesting. You know. Oh, what? You go? What club you go? What club you going to? I ain't giving you no permission to go to the club. You know, I'm regulating over here. You know what I'm saying? I'll fuck it with you. You got a confession for as I was telling that story, I remember my fucking confession that I need to, that I said I was gonna tell this Sunday. So there's that. Man, that's definitely. But yeah, like I said, with the shirts and stuff, and some of the stuff, I'm gonna start putting up some links as how to obtain them, and all that good stuff, man. Because like I said, I think, like as much as I appreciate the love and donations, I think, you know, merch is cool. At least you can have some things to show for it, and then you can tell your friends about it. They'll be like, "Den folk? What is a den folk? What does that mean?" They're gonna think y'all in some kind of new gang or some shit. But yeah, man. Karaoke. That's very interesting. You have to record a video, send it to them. We're gonna see what your karaoke skills like. Yeah, I'm looking. You know, trying to get the private jet, and then you know, signing up for the Catalina wine mixers. Make sure we're in attendance for that. But yeah, so it's gonna be very interesting. But yeah, man. That shit was fun to talk about niggas. The smell of that dank. Man. Part 5. It'll be interesting. If y'all haven't heard parts 1 through 3, y'all gotta go back and definitely check it out, man. He said it'll be funny because a white girl will be wasted trying to twerk. Man, look, Jack. There's still some work going here. Like, the Russians can do it. They just don't have no ass. Like, the Russians have taken the twerking and made it a thing. They just don't have no ass, so it don't look right. The American white girls still ain't quite got it yet. Like, they still be a little, backish with it. Maybe y'all up in the upper back with the moves. Each night we've done it, so it's been every night. So 3 was yesterday, let's say Wednesday. 3 was yesterday. When we started, did we start these on Sunday? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Been 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, we're not gonna do all that. I'm trying to fly a real G6, Creflo Dollar style, Honcho Dollar baby. Well, that's a bet. I appreciate that. I sincerely thank y'all for supporting the den. Like I say, slowly but surely we gonna make it shake. You said shaking side to side, be circling your butt. We're gonna have to rewrite that book. Look, I'm gonna be honest. You know, let me try not to be perverted. Let me try to be somewhat not perverted. This day we've had a lot of church talk. We've had a lot of talk about a lot of things. See, that's the way. But here's the deal. See, if we get the jet, then we don't have to take the road trip. We can just hop in the jet and we can just fly somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't got to do all that extra stuff. Oh my God. Fuck. I wish I would have wrote it down. Where did I see it? I saw some terrible twerking. And it was only second to an individual who shall not remain nameless in this den. But, man, where did I see? I saw some terrible twerking today. And I was like, what? It almost makes Heidi's twerk look like it was worthwhile. But, you know, there's that. Yeah. That's that. But yeah, man, no, but twerking, here's the deal. Like, twerking is a facade. Okay? Now, and why I say this is people relate dancing to sexual talents. And then after this, I'm going to get ready to know it is not okay for men to twerk. Yeah, I believe, you know, that sounds right. That sounds like, who was that in the den a while back that was like, yeah, if I really wanted to talk to chicks, you know, I could have them, I just don't want to talk to them. So yeah, I see what you said. J Mel, what's the motherfucking deal, man? Not the Hoff. But here's the thing, right? Twerking is supposed to be a representation of, or dancing is supposed to be a representation of your sexual prowess. Unless you're like country line dancing. And here's another thing too. Country music and fucking black folks, like, I don't know why we hate country. I don't know why country people hate fucking rap. It's the same shit. I've been saying it for years. What other fucking genres do you do fucking line dances? Fucking Cupid Shuffle and shit like that, and all these other dances, and then fucking country music, you heel toe, do-si-do, come on baby, let's go. Like, come on, everybody got fucking, this is the only two. It's the same shit you rap about, you talk about women getting drunk, partying. It's just the terminology is a little bit different. Rob Myers, happy motherfucking birthday. You know what I'm saying? Glad that you could join us for your birthday. That's all. Give Rob a happy birthday. Almost out of Arizona. Okay, you see it. Yeah, you get out of there. Is Air Pio still out there? You're gonna get your ass. Hey man, I took a bus to Florida once. It was the most interesting thing. And then I ain't gonna talk about too much, but I took one back, and an associate of mine had a little bit of relief for the trip. And so we would stop places, and when we stopped, we'd hop off, you know, we'd go hit the relaxation button and jump back on. The bus driver got on one time talking about, somebody on here smell like some reefer. You know, who would it smell like? If I find out, I'm gonna kick y'all off the bus. Man, this nigga sitting behind me, like, unexpectedly out of nowhere. This nigga just hit me with some cologne. Like, I was not prepared for the shit. You know what I'm saying? This nigga just hit me with some fucking cologne, all out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's not Heidi's birthday today. Don't let Heidi hit you with the shenanigans. And that's actually a good idea for an answer. I didn't even think about the garage. But motherfucking me, that shit. You ever got like a little bit of clunky when you're not expecting it? A little bit got in your mouth because he just like reached over the seat and just sprayed a nigga up and shit. Like that shit, nigga. That's gonna make us even more obvious. Like who on the bus fucking smelling like cologne and shit? But it is what it is. You smoked with the last driver. I would say that them motherfuckers cool there. But yeah, man, it was interesting. Bus trips are interesting. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get we're gonna hit the den on the road, take a bus trip, and just interview people on the bus for the den. That Tiger World. It's like Harlem World. But yeah, but twerking, like I said, it's supposed to be a sign of sexual prowess or a resemblance. But that is not always true. Women say they like men who can dance because it gives them an idea of what they can do in the bed. People be making shit up. You know what I'm saying? Because then you look at women and they shaking their ass, that makes you think, oh man, she can do all that type of freaky stuff in bed. It's not true. All right? It's not true. It is not true. So, there's that. Yeah, like I said, Heidi way in the end of the year and shit. Heidi doesn't even have a birthday. She's born on a fucking leap year. So she only get a birthday every 4 years. Shit don't count. She's born on, the 29th of February. So, there's that. But man, hey, look. It is what it is. We just slid through and extended the den, and done some things. Shout out to Just Air, AB, and Brandon, for the Benjamins, for the plane. Look, fuck a soul plane. It's all about Den plane. It's going to be going down. But as we continue to progress this thing, as we continue to grow this thing, man, like I said, I just want to take the time to tell y'all thank you, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in, each and every night, and, just engaging in great conversation, whether we agree, whether we disagree, whether Heidi makes a bunch of stuff up. But it's all good. Man, them Jamaicans, look, I think you went through a time zone, J man. We started at the usual time. What time is it now? It's like what? Yeah, it's one. Damn, it's one. Yeah, we done went 3 hours. We done went extended then. Roger, you on time with us, or you on late? Y'all gotta check sometime when y'all gotta make sure y'all watch the stream that it say live. Sometimes it be like if you go off and do something else, you come back, it'll usually start you where you was at. So there's that. Josh, he's in another time zone or he lit. So there's that. I did not do such a thing. Josh still with us. Josh still lurking. He's still around the mix. You know what I'm saying? He's still with us. You know what I'm saying? 11:13. Where are you at? Is that what time it is in Cali? What time is it in Cali? I thought Cali was 2 hours behind, so yeah, okay, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I did no such thing. Okay, the Bay Area. Okay, there we go. Damn. Y'all all international and shit. Okay. Say religion and politics are very. Yeah, Sheila is way behind. Sheila has been behind in this conversation. That's why I've been wondering, Sheila's been behind in the conversation. But Sheila, I don't think that's a new face, so welcome to the den. Whenever you catch this, you know what I'm saying? Because 69 cents worth of gas, that was 20 minutes ago? But yeah. Sheila, mama's sick. Okay. That's fucking funny. Oh man, yes. Cuban B. Y'all youngsters don't know about that. But man, hey Jack, I fucks with y'all. Y'all don't understand, I got up today and I was thinking about last night's den and just some of the things that were shared and just how open people can be. It's just dope. It's really dope, and it's just like I'm eager to see where this journey goes, man. I'm eager to see where this journey goes. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all for, venturing down this path with me. But thank y'all. Again, we'll be back at it tomorrow. And I'll have some daytime vids for y'all. But same den time, same den channel, 10 p.m. Central. Pardon my yawn. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all ain't gotta go home. But y'all gotta get the fuck up out of here. I'm finna go get on my plane. I'm out. What y'all doing? What y'all talking about? Oh yeah, it's after midnight now because we started my calorie count for the day. I've been doing good. I've been killing this shit. I might actually lose some weight. I'm out.